Hey, in the immortal words of Judy Brown, happiness is a choice. And we're happy to spend some time with us, Chip and Zay, holding it down here on the midday. We are T-minus 8 days to Christmas, folks. So just so you know, trying to keep you on track. Don't want you to fall behind and lose. You don't want to lose on Christmas. You know what I mean? You just got to show up. Got to show up. Make some effort. People will be thankful if you make some effort. Unlike Zay, who makes no effort.
What?
You said that your wife buys all the presents for everybody.
Yeah, but I know my personnel. You know what I'm saying? I married a woman who is gonna, she takes up too. So what I don't do, she picks up, but it's still team. She asks me, hey, what does your brother or nieces want? I text them what y'all want for Christmas. I let them know y'all need to chill out. That's way too expensive. Let's tone it down a notch or 2 or 3. And then we go from there. But as far as actually going to get them, no, that's not in, that's just not what a brother does. And that's okay. That's all right. Everybody has, what works for them. And, I know it's 8 days away. I'm good. We good over here. The Colliers.
Right. We good.
We good. Christmas, we're ready to go.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
That's what I'm talking about. We got, we will have Chris Hummer on the show.
Hummer.
At 3:00. Get his thoughts on this college football playoff, which will begin on Friday with the Oklahoma Sooners playing host to the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Sooner Cowboys, you nervous? I'd be nervous.
Sooner Cowboys is calling a shot here. OU versus Georgia for the Natty. Gonna be fire.
That tells me he ain't nervous at all.
That will never happen.
Wow.
Never.
Never?
Not a chance.
I mean,
not a chance. OU's offense might be uniquely suited to beat Alabama's suddenly inept offense, where Ty Simpson, who had like 21 touchdowns and 2 interceptions through the first 9 games and now has 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in the last 3. I think OU is catching Alabama at the perfect time. I know Alabama's going to have some people coming back from injury, but they're having to go on the road to Norman. But yeah, OU, I mean, they've been doing it with bubble gum and baling wire. They've been getting outgained and winning because their defense has been so good, and that's great. But that's not going to hold up through this 12-team tournament. Might hold up for a game. I'll be shocked if OU can win more than one game in this tournament.
Yeah, I would be too. I mean, John Mateer, I know he hasn't had the season that a lot of people expected him to have, even though it was looking that way until the thumb injury and them Texas Longhorns got a hold of him, and everything's been kind of downhill since. Yet, to what you're saying, Chip, here they are, like in the college football playoff, hosting. That's a big deal. Like, I gave Brent Venables his flowers yesterday, and I'll continue to give Brent Venables his flowers. The villain-looking MFA has been coaching his ass off all year, and that defense, Alabama, you got to figure something out. Like Ty Simpson, that back, my neck, my back, my neck, and my back. Ty Simpson's beat up, man. My man Ty Simpson. It's not looking good. And that crowd, it's going to be a ruckus. It's tough. It's tough for the Crimson Tide. I'm excited to hear what Lance Taylor has to say. who isn't going to Norman, which I think is sad. Lance, you got to get out. I mean, I get it. It's Oklahoma. Like, my father-in-law was like, hey, Zay, we need to take a trip over to Oklahoma City and see the Thunder play for a couple of games. And I love my father-in-law. Kevin, I love you, dog. I love you. You know I do. But in Oklahoma for a few days with anybody, that's tough for your boy. So I get Rex Taylor, not deciding to make the trip. But, yeah, which defense is going to fold? Because somebody going to get got. You can't be perfect. All you got to do is win 3-0, hell, maybe 2-0. Maybe somebody will win from a safety the way these offenses have been looking. But someone has to mess up. Someone has to win the ball game. And that's why the line is where it is. Is it still 1.5? Bama?
I think so.
Yeah, that's like, it's basically a pick 'em. So, yeah, I'm very intrigued by this game. I think John Mateer can make a few more plays right now to give his team a shot. I like Isaiah Satania. He's had a solid year. He's trying to go for over 1,000 this season. Can they make enough plays? Whose running game is going to be just relevant enough to make the defense look uneasy, and maybe you could hit a couple explosives? Because all you need is a 2, maybe 3, whichever team can hit 3 explosive plays, and that's only 20 yards or more. Like, I'm not even saying like 50 yarders. I'm saying 20 yards or more. Which team has 3 in them in this game? I think OU. I give them a shot to get 3 more than Alabama right now.
The OU's leading rusher this season, Torrey Blaylock, has 444 yards rushing.
It's been rough.
That's awful. That is straight awful. But hey, you just need one more point than the other team.
That's right.
And Alabama, like I said, these last 4 games, hell, 2 of Ty Simpson's 4 interceptions in the last 4 games came against Eastern Illinois. He had no touchdowns and 2 interceptions against Eastern Illinois. Like, what is that? That should have been a get-right game.
Yeah.
That should have been a pad the stats moment. Yeah, Ty Simpson's got me all kinds of questioning if Alabama's got the goods.
Yeah, like you gotta, when you're healthy, of course you look good. But all these injuries that we hear that he has right now, like, he used to be really fleet of foot. Like that.
What'd you say? My back, my neck,
my back. You remember Ezel from Friday, where he faked the injury at the cornerstone? I want 150,000. Yeah, man, that's how I feel about Ty Simpson. It's just, my man's been going through it. And Kalen DeBoer, horny ass Sharon Moore, having that job just open. Kalen DeBoer, I know it's going through his mind. It's not fun in Tuscaloosa right now at all. Nobody's having fun. Ryan Williams, everybody thinks he's stealing money. How is Ryan Williams this much worse? You're supposed to get better. The video game and the Skrilla couldn't have gone to your head. Is that what we were afraid of with NIL coming about? These guys getting money at such a young age, getting so much money that they forget what got them the money in the first place? Because with Ryan Williams, that's how it's looking. And shout out to Jeremy Bernard, who has been the better receiver all year and got the Senior Bowl invite and accepted it. Excited to talk to Drew about that tomorrow. Like, good thing that he's been good. And Ryan Williams wasn't, I mean, he was expected to be wide receiver 1, but at least Jeremy Bernard came in and said, no, this fool ain't doing it. I got y'all. And he ain't making as much money as Ryan Williams. I don't see him on the cover of the video game. So Kalen DeBoer. Again, decisions. What we gonna do? Because if I lose this one, if I'm Kalen DeBoer, I'm gone. No, my wife and kids, we aren't getting harassed. We're not getting harassed. That's just not gonna happen by these folks with no teeth, stank breath, man. All they got. Oh, hell no.
Dang.
Yeah, that had to be said.
Okay, so if OU beats Alabama, you're saying Kalen DeBoer is up and out of Tuscaloosa.
I'm not saying it. I'm saying if I were him, I would be.
Okay.
I would be. Yeah. Sometimes like 2 years, that's all, that's all he needed. 2 years. That's all he needed to see what he was really getting into. He ain't from the South. He's a Midwestern guy. He likes that cold. You know what I'm saying? He understands that area. He can recruit that area. Taking over for the guy like he did, we've talked about it. You said yourself, taking over for the guy, not a good move. But taking over for the guy who took over for the guy, Jerome Moore, he came in, took them hits. They got his ass out of there. Now they can't get worse than Jerome Moore. So yeah. Like where's Alabama's mindset at as a whole? This is a good time. This is a good time for OU. They got them where they want them. They can't screw this up. Brent, you can't screw this up.
Yeah, I was trying to see what I guess I don't know. Did the Alabama AD say something about the DeBoer?
Uh-oh.
Let's see.
Yeah, look that up.
Kalen DeBoer, well, that statement that he put out 3 days ago, my family and I are very happy in Tuscaloosa and remain extremely grateful of the support of President Moeller, Greg Byrne, the board, and so many others. We have an incredible opportunity in front of us, so my sole focus is on Alabama football and our preparations to play Oklahoma in the college football playoff. I've not spoken, have no interest in speaking with anyone else about any other job. I'm fully committed to this program. Look forward to continuing as the head football coach at the University of Alabama.
Yeah. PR team on point. That's a hell of a job. They're earning every penny. Kalen DeBoer's group. I ain't buying that.
Okay. All right.
I ain't buying that. He has to say that. You can't say, I'm thinking about it. You're in the college football playoff, man.
Well, he didn't need to add that last sentence, right?
What was the last sentence?
I'm fully committed to this program and look forward to continuing as the head football coach at the University of Alabama. He could have just said, I'm very happy in Tuscaloosa and remained grateful. We have an incredible opportunity against Oklahoma in the college football playoff.
What's wrong with what he said?
Because now he's kind of roped himself into a corner. But you don't care. Like if he gets beat and the fans all tell him to put a for sale sign in his yard, he gets to say, hey, everything was great right up until we lost OU and all these Bama fans told me to put a for sale sign in my yard.
Exactly. The fans, they're doing it for him. No, he's out of that corner. He's like Floyd Mayweather when Floyd used to get back into that corner. And Floyd was dodging and doing all. Floyd put that shoulder up. Yeah, Floyd put that shoulder up, man. And he hit you real quick. Yeah. Kalen DeBoer, you in a good spot. Real good spot. Because if I'm Michigan, aren't they looking at Kenny Dillingham? Which I think that would be a terrific get. I love Kenny with his crazy ass. He crazy as hell. I don't know. You know more than I. Can that type of crazy and energy fit in Ann Arbor?
Oh, man. I like Kalen DeBoer.
See, man, all right. Me too.
We'll see.
Me too. They gotta wait, Kitty. No disrespect, but we gotta make a couple calls first before we get back to you. And Kenny, I'm sure he understands. If Kenny could bring Cam Scatterboo out of Nowheresville, California, and make it work, you a good coach to be. Like, he found that dude and said, yo, this guy, he could play for anybody. Let's make it fit here at Arizona State. And that's exactly what happened. Cam Scatterboo, until he got hurt, was having a terrific rookie season. But, Caleb DeBoer, I don't mind anything that he said. Them fans, the fact that he said all that, because I wouldn't have said nothing. Like, they lucky. I wouldn't have said nothing. The PR team, don't put nothing together. Just leave it out there. I shouldn't have to explain myself. I took this job for a reason. I shouldn't have to explain myself. It's the Alabama fans that have unrealistic expectations because the GOAT put that on them. Like, not everybody's going to be Nick Saban, but now they in a different category. Alabama fans, they got their pinky out. They ish don't stink. How could it? They've seen it and they've done it in so many different ways. Like, we've talked about that too, Chip. In the beginning, they were running the hell out of the football. Saban realized, man, we can't keep this up. Everybody's catching up with us. We're going to have to throw it a little bit. Let's bring in Lane. Let's bring in Sark. Let's bring in all these other minds. And they changed it up. Bama fans, they saw that. They went through all that change. They feel like they know everything that you could possibly know about the game of football. You know what I mean? So, if I'm Caleb DeBoer, who actually does know way more than 99.9% of these Alabama fans that want him out of here, why would you deal with that?
Yeah, I really want Kalen DeBoer to go to Michigan because I want to see how the Alabama fan base handles that search.
Damn, that's petty. Yeah, I don't know where they would go.
I mean,
if that were to happen.
Careful what you wish for, Bama fans. Careful what you wish for. I'm not saying they wouldn't end up with a great coach. I just would like to see it. I'd like to see that search. I'd like to see that search play out.
Yeah, they would probably have to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't know, or a coordinator, which that'd be tough. I don't know if there are any coordinators that could just jump into that gig and have it be smooth.
Yeah. How about this? Quinn Ewers will be starting for the Miami Dolphins. Quinn Ewers replacing Tua Tagovailoa. He will get the start. Mike McDaniel said, Quinn Ewers gives us the best chance to win.
Jeez.
Damn.
Wow. This ain't your boy no more?
That hurt.
Yeah, it's either me or him. That's what it is. Like, Miami, it's either Mike McDaniel or Tua. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't keep both, especially after he said that. That's cold-blooded. Gives us the best chance to win. And if I'm Tua, once Tyreek Hill went out, that was the season. Let's just keep it a buck. Tyreek Hill is one of the best wide receivers the last decade by far. His speed, it's untouched. So, yeah, he made a lot of things happen, not only for himself, but for everybody else getting love and being able to eat. Him going out changed everything. Tua's not that type of quarterback where he's going to elevate others. He needs really good players around him. Jalen Waddle's all right, but he ain't Tyreek Hill. So to Tua's defense, yeah, once Tyreek left, that was it. It was going to go downhill. And
how about this? The Miami Dolphins began the week as 1.5-point favorites over the Cincinnati Bengals. The line has since moved dramatically toward the Bengals after the reported quarterback change. The Bengals are now favored by 5.5. Damn.
Yeah.
But Quinn Ewers gives the Dolphins the best chance to win. Not in Vegas. Not according to Vegas. I hope Quinn goes out there and balls out.
Hell yeah.
And shows everybody what he can do. He got some action against Cleveland. He was 5 of 8 passing. You go, Quinn Ewers. 5 of 8. And now we'll see what he can do against the Cincinnati Bengals. That game is in Miami at noon.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers versus Joe Burrow. I didn't think I'd be saying that anytime soon, but here we are. And kind of like what we were talking about with Oklahoma, this is a good time to get Alabama. This is a good time to get Joe Burrow, Quinn, and beat him in that QB battle with the way he's been acting. It's been sad seeing Joe Burrow in this pressers. We played it last week.
They lost 24-0 last week.
Yeah, and he looked sad again. He was like, all the rest of the 31 teams, if I play like this, I'm not winning with anybody. And again, the Ravens aren't great. So for them to skunk you, donut, 0 on the board, no points. And again, it's not like the Bengals don't have weapons. You pay T. Higgins and Jamar Chase a buku load of money. So I get Joe Burrow is still working the kinks out of having that turf toe injury, but it doesn't even seem like physical. It seems all mental for him. And that's why the saying is true. You just never know what someone's going through. You know, people could paint a happy face, but you just never know what's behind the happy face, which is very scary. But hopefully he's getting the help and love from his family and the people that are close to him to where he can keep on going and finish the season out strong and hopefully get right for 2026. But yeah, Joe Burrow, clear 180 from what we saw last year in 2024, where he should have been MVP of the league.
Yeah. Yeah. He was trying to drag those Bengals along with him, and they just wouldn't cooperate.
Oh, the stuff he was doing last year, man. I had him on my fantasy team. Just immaculate quarterback play. Like, just maneuvering in the pocket, making tight window throws, man. He's so much more athletic than you give him credit for. When he's at his best, he's top 5 in the league, not even close. But yeah, like all these injuries have, you know, you saw what happened to Andrew Luck. That's why people keep comparing it to him. Like, the dude just got beat up so much. Now he's in Palo Alto trying to get his Stanford Cardinal back, you know, on the up and up, which is crazy, by the way. Good for him for doing that. But yeah, he should be still playing.
Yeah, and look at the rest of the division. Like, the Ravens are off. The Steelers have been, you know, kind of playing with their food. And the Browns are going through quarterbacks like, you know, people go through toilet paper. And the Bengals should have been able to pounce, should have been able to, you know, make some movement this year in the playoff run. And it is not happening.
Yeah.
N-O-T, not happening.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It's sad, man. The folks were breaking into Joe Burrow's house last year. Man's gone through a lot. Like, it's a lot of injuries for his young career.
Yeah.
Like, it started early. Like, his rookie year, I think he tore his ACL. And it seemed like every other year, just something happened where he missed a significant amount of time. And, you know, you keep getting hurt out there, like, you're investing a lot of money in your franchise quarterback, but for him to keep getting hurt, the Bengals, they're never going to be able to get to where they want to be. And that's just how it goes sometimes.
Well, in Tua Tagovailoa, he got paid. And, you know, people are like, man, since he got paid, he's he's not the same guy. He's not, he's throwing teammates under the bus, talking about how they're not on time. And people are saying Tua's not the same guy. He's the only $50 million quarterback to get benched. The NFL's got 11 quarterbacks making $50 million or more. And Tua's one of them. And he's the only one of that club who's been benched. And they'd owe him $54 million next year.
Yeah, we're such a soft society, man. When did throwing teammates under the bus become a thing? There's like, why can't guys hold other guys accountable? Especially someone in a situation like Tua, who's the quarterback of your team.
Hey, just as long as he's doing everything he can possibly do, because the players always know.
True. That is true. Like, if he's out here late too, then yeah, he can't say a damn thing. But I expect for him to be with that position and responsibility, first guy in, last guy out. So when you're the first guy in, last guy out, and everybody sees you busting your tail, then I'm good with you throwing guys under the bus and holding them accountable. Because what are you busting your ass for? Kobe used to say it all the time. People were like, Kobe, why don't you pass the ball? Why would I pass the ball to somebody that ain't putting in the work like me? I love you, mama, man. R.I.P. God, I miss that dude. But it's real. Why would I give the ball to somebody who's not putting in that work, who's not just in love with the grind? Like, come on now. Somebody, and it's Miami. It's very easy to not be in love with the grind. Ask Bert Auburn, who could have went anywhere else, but said, no, I want to be in the field goal.
Really? You're going with Bert Auburn in this story?
It's Miami.
Why are you kicking that three-legged dog?
It's Miami. There's a lot of distraction. So Tua, you got to hold people accountable, because I'm sure those very rich men on the Miami Dolphins, they probably like to flash it a little bit. And them fine-ass Cuban, Jamaican, Haitian women, they want to see some money get thrown around too.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying, I can't speak from experience. I don't got money like that. I've never played on the Dolphins. Oh. I can't speak for experience. I'm just saying, what I think happens down there. You dig?
I love it. I love it. My man Zay is looking for ways to kick Bert Auburn in the nut.
Yo, you know what? If Bert makes the game-winning field goal Saturday, that could happen.
Right.
That could happen. Who knows? The
starting kicker could trip and fall getting off the bus.
Exactly. He could eat some bad Lane's chicken, which that will never happen because Lane's is never bad, but that's the only College Station place I could think of. Lane's, I'm sorry. That will never happen. You ain't got to worry about that. But he could eat something bad, have the BGs, bubble guts. Bert gets the call. Bert could redeem everything he did at Texas. Well, not really, but for his sake, Bert could use that confidence, which he might get a red shirt chip. He didn't play in many games. Don't laugh at that.
I mean,
real, right?
Didn't he already red shirt?
Did he? I don't remember.
I don't think he played as a true freshman.
Oh, that's brutal. Damn.
I'll double check it.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, see you in Canada, Bert. It gets cold up there. Bring a jacket.
Okay. You're saying he's got a chance, huh?
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with the Canadian League, man. Let's keep that real. Ain't nothing wrong with the Canadian League. My man Jackson Jeffcoat is a legend in Canada. Legend. Shout out to Jackson Jeffcoat, who sat on me in AAU back in high school when I went up for a layup, and he completely took me out. Should have been a flagrant foul. Fell on top of me. My back's been kind of walky ever since. But
I won $150,000. for that injury. Yeah, Bert redshirted in 2021. So he gone. This is it.
See, you can't. That's what I'm saying. Like, what went into the recruiting process there? Like, was Mario real with him? Did Mario tell him that you're going to be in a battle? You know, because
hey, Mario's got to have some, he's got to have some depth.
Yeah, but you got to be real with guys, right? Like, if I ask, I would hope the coach is real with me. Coach, this is my senior year. I'm not trying to be in a battle.
Because you're the one who said that Bert just wanted to go to Miami.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. But
he didn't even care if he was the kicker.
I know, but you're trying to give me a heart. So here I am trying to have a heart for a little bit and try to think on the other side, like the angel side of my shoulders talking to me. And it says, did Bert go through, what was the process? Because if I'm Bert, I'm asking, is it just me or is there going to be someone else that I'm going to have to battle with? And Mario, give Mario the benefit of the doubt. He said, yes, we're bringing in a kid from FAU. So in your mind, FAU, I got him. I went to Texas, right? Like, this dude went to FAU. He ain't like me. He ain't kicking Tuscaloosa. He ain't kicking Red River. You know what I'm saying? He was kicking against South Florida and all these other, little Ruthie Poot schools. He ain't nothing.
Ruthie Poot.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't think he did his due diligence and, research. You got to do your research, kids. You can't just commit. You can't. Yeah, like talk to somebody, ask around, call someone.
Where did this kid come from? Were you making that up about the kicker?
No, I think he came from FAU.
Oh, he did?
I think so.
Carter Davis. Let's see where he came from.
Let's see where he came from. He might have been there. Ain't got no angel, only devils. Yo, Souls, man, don't play me like that. I got a heart, Souls. I got a heart, man. I really do. I really do. And it's deep and it's pure. I don't want Bert to struggle.
Yeah, he did. He came from Florida Atlantic.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember us talking about it. Yeah, we should have beat him out.
Carter Davis, he's from the area.
Yeah.
He's a local. He went to high school in East Fort Lauderdale.
See, man. So he's already had the Cubanos. He's already had that. He's lived with it. He's lived with it. He knows. It's nothing new to him.
He's had the Cubanos.
I'm talking about the sandwich.
Okay, yeah. He's had some Cubano sandwiches.
Man.
I love it.
I hate to see it. But yeah, shout out to Quinn Ewers, man.
We just spent 10 minutes talking about Bert Auburn.
Nah, maybe about 3 or 4. But Quinn Ewers healthy. Hey, that's a different Quinn Ewers. Everybody remembers, hurt, beat up Quinn Ewers.
Such a big opportunity for Quinn. I don't know what the mindset of that football team is. I don't know what the mindset of the guys on that offense are, but this is such a big deal for Quinn Ewers because if he comes out and looks good, he buys time. He buys time. Because as a 7th round pick, you are seen as a guy who is not going to make it in the league. If Quinn Ewers comes out, looks sharp, looks in control, looks in command, and is connecting, moving the offense, he buys himself time. He stays on the roster. He gets another chance. And this would seem to be a move that gives Quinn Ewers 3 starts to finish the season because the Dolphins are out. They got no shot. So Quinn Ewers going to get to play at home against the Bengals. And then, if things go well, like what? Phillip Rivers did well enough to get another start. He would play against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Miami on December 28th and possibly finish the season at New England.
That's going to be cold as hell.
Cold as hell.
Yeah.
That game's in January in Foxborough.
Man.
That's icicles in your nostrils.
Yeah. Texas boy going to New England in January. That could be some trouble. But yeah, good for Quinn Ewers, just getting an opportunity. Like Mike McDaniels, he didn't have to make this move. I feel like he knows he's on the way out. So the front office could have said, hey, Tua's your starter if you want to keep your job. I don't know what happened there. But for Mike McDaniels to turn on Tua like this, which we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Something's going on, though. Something's going on. Where Tua he's a weird guy, that Tua. He's just different. He was wearing the braids recently and, I don't know. I know I got nothing to do with nothing, but that has something to do with something. Your hairstyle as a quarterback, that means something to me. Like when Quinn Ewers got rid of the mullet, he knew he had to get rid of the mullet because you got to look more professional. It was time for the mullet to go. So when I see a player like Tua rocking braids and stuff, like how serious are you taking the game?
Well, here's the weird thing. The Dolphins have won 4 of their last 5. Like they beat Buffalo, they beat Washington, they beat New Orleans, they beat the Jets 4 in a row. And then they lose at Pittsburgh and Tua's benched. So yeah, there's definitely something going on because you win 4 of your last 5, and then you play against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. You lose 28-15, and Tua was 22 of 28 passing. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Like it wasn't a terrible game, and he gets benched. So I hope Quinn Ewers, I hope he has a chance here because if the players don't like this move, this could go sideways.
Yeah.
So,
and this could be we're trying to get a good draft pick. Tua gives us a better opportunity to win. We don't think Quinn Ewers does. So we're saying it without actually saying it. We're tanking without actually tanking. I don't want that to be the case for Quinn Ewers, but it's not like we haven't seen this before in the National Football League. So, Quinn, you got to shut their ass up and make sure they get a good pick. Try to go 3-0 because guys are still fighting for jobs. Like, it's not like you can just go out there and put out a dud. It's a coach's job to put you in the best situation possible. And if they aren't doing that, okay, I got to fight for mine. I got to fight for my next job interview because that's what they are. We got job interviews for a lot of these guys these upcoming weeks that don't have any type of playoff aspirations. So guys are going to bust their ass and whatnot. But, yeah, I'd check down to Devon Achane a lot. That's a smart way to go. Tua was doing that, and then he beat Buffalo doing that. So Quinn could do it. Like, Achane's their only bright spot on offense.
Yeah.
Only one.
Tyreek Hill. I mean, Jalen Waddle, but yeah.
Jalen Waddle's so soft, man. You poke him and he gets hurt. He's always going to the sideline, like shaking his head and grimacing and stuff. And it's a violent game. I understand that. But, man, like every year. and he's not a number one guy either. So now that he's getting that number one volume, nah, he's a good number 2.
Well, let's get a little Texas basketball in here before Hummer jumps on with us. Last night at Moody Center, the Texas Longhorns took on Lemoyne. Yeah, that juggernaut beat the brakes off of them. And we learn anything in this one, or is this just another high game?
Yeah, just another quad 4 win. I mean, what can you? What can you do with quad 4 wins? Like, the committee, they glance right over those once March comes around. They could care less about that. Okay, let's start with the positive. Trayvon Mark, 18 points, 2 for 5 from 3, got to the free throw line, 4 or 5 for the free throw line, 6 for 10 shooting. He was the best player last night. So, again, with Trayvon Mark, you know that the analytics, the way that Sean Miller wants to play deep down, they don't match what Trayvon Mark does. But we know Trayvon Mark, you don't got many players to play over Trayvon Mark. So he has to play, which means you have to favor what he does well. That's pull-up jumpers, that's getting to the rim, that's shooting the three. But if you're not allowing him to take pull-up jumpers, if you're coaching him to play an analytic game to where the NBA is today and the way basketball is today and how these coaches are preaching their philosophies, Trayvon Mark's not going to give you much value. So again, kudos to Sean Miller for understanding, which that's why Trayvon Mark, in my opinion, struggled at the beginning of the year. He was trying to play the exact style that Sean Miller wants him to play, which is get to the rim, take the three. The only reason why you would ever shoot a mid-range jumper is if we have no choice and the shot clock's going down. But besides that, I don't want you taking those shots because the stats have shown us those aren't good shots. That's not for every player, though. So Trayvon Mark having the green light to take some of those mid-range jumpers, for him, that's okay. You don't necessarily want that for anybody else. You don't want that for Dalen Swain. You don't want that from Cam Heide. You don't want that from Jordan Pope. You don't want that for Simeon Wilcher. The only person you want taking mid-range shots is really Trayvon Mark. And that's just going to make him play better overall because he's not in his head thinking every time I get the ball and I don't get the rim and I don't shoot a three, I'm not bringing anything to this team. I'm not a threat anymore. So that's a positive. The negative, go ahead.
Can I give you a positive?
Go ahead, yeah.
This was jaw-dropping. Jordan Pope passed the ball to Camden Heide, who made a three 1 minute into the game before Jordan Pope took a shot. Jordan Pope dished to Cam Heide, who made the three before Jordan Pope took a shot. And then Jordan Pope went to jacking up threes and missing them and ignoring Cam Heide. But 1 minute into the game, there was angels singing. Ah! Jordan Pope passed the ball to Cam Heide, who made the three. Unbelievable. I was like,
you're going to be locked in on that all season long, man. That's good. No, good for Jordan Pope. I mean, again, Cam Heide, you really got to create for him. Like,
yes,
you really got to create.
That is uncontroverted. We know this guy's going to be sitting out there on the three-point line waiting. That's what he's going to bring. And then hopefully a little bit of defense on the other end. But yeah, his teammates got to look for him.
Yeah.
And he did. Jordan Pope, there is hope. Signs of life.
Yeah. Like Cam Heide against quad 4 teams, Cam Heide's going to look good. When you play against quad 1 teams, we'll see. We'll see. It's tough.
Cam Heide's other three-pointer that he made was assisted by Simeon Wilcher, who always seems to look for Cam Heide.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No, I like Simeon Wilcher. I wish you could play Jordan Pope and Wilcher for longer periods of time together, but they're just so small. You can't do that against good teams. Like, they're going to get exposed defensively where you're going to have to overly help, and then somebody's going to end up getting an open shot. So that sucks, because offensively, those guys together, it could work. Like, Wilcher's jumper is smooth, man. Like, I want him to shoot more, but I think he understands that he has to create for guys like Cam Heide. He has to find guys like Mathis down low and get the ball in the paint and get Lacina involved also. And Jordan Pope, who you're hard on Jordan Pope. I think Jordan Pope's done a decent job. It hasn't been great, but it hasn't been horrible.
He's good. He's good at, he's got 36 assists and 7 turnovers. That's beautiful. That's great. The other thing, though, he's shot 76 threes, like 30 more than the next player on the team, and he's hitting 37%.
You'll take that,
which is bare minimum okay.
Bare minimum.
Well, when I say that Cam Heide's hitting 55% from 3 and is struggling to get Jordan Pope to look at him, like, when I talk about Cam Heide, you're like, man, you got to set up for him. Well, okay, but isn't a 55% shooter from 3 worth setting up for?
But
like, I'm going to draw the defense. I'm going to find ways to get this guy the ball because he hits 55% of his threes.
I agree. Cam Heide is one of the most unique players I've ever seen because he could shoot the lights out. When the ball's bounced off the rim for a rebound, his tip dunk ability, his athleticism, like, he had a dunk yesterday when he got a steal, which just an easy 2 feet off 1 foot. Like, he makes it look easy. And you're like, man, this guy's athletic. But then, like, you want him to come off screens. He can't do that because he can't move. It's weird. I don't understand it. I'm like, how can a guy jump this high, not be able to really move? It seems just so stiff and like a robot. Last night, he had a play where Lacina Traore sets an on-ball screen, smooth pick and roll action. Cam Heide, he's the ball handler. Comes off the screen, he throws a bounce pass, it goes smooth out of bounds. Lacina's looking at him. He's looking at Lacina doing this. I'm over here like, man, this guy, he just can't dribble. And then, and you would think they should run some floppy, like some down screens for him. But I just don't think his body can move to where he could catch it off a screen, turn around, and get off a clean look. Like, his feet have to be set. He has to catch it. The wind has to be right. The seams of the ball has to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's just too much. Has to be perfect.
It's too much. He's shooting 55%.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, you got to get your shot off first to shoot the 55.
It seems like you're bringing up reasons why it's not working. And I'm saying it is working if the other players on the team are willing to make it work.
Man, I think John Stockton would have a hard time getting Cam Heide's shots.
Damn.
I'm dead honest, man.
I mean, you got guys who can break down the defense.
Kinda.
Dalen Swain can get to the hoop. Tremont Mark can get to the hoop. Jordan Pope thinks he can get to the hoop. So, and you got Matis. You got what you want. You got what you need.
Yeah. He's always matched up
against point guard, but that's a problem.
That is a problem. And he's also getting matched up against other fours who are like 6'9",
right,
got wingspans. He's 6'7". He doesn't have the biggest wingspan. So you have to take that into account. You got to shoot over those guys. And yeah, I also think sometimes he has to be more aggressive and just let that thing fly. And you can't care if the guy's this close to you. If you could get the ball off, you got to trust your muscle memory that if this guy doesn't get a tip on the ball, he's not going to affect my shot. So I think that's a thing. So I think it's everything. I think it's what you're saying. I think it's some of what I'm saying. Like, I want Cam Hyde to get more shots too. And I'm sure this coaching staff and Sean Miller, they're trying to figure out ways to do so. But there's just a lot of limitations with this team. And Cam Hyde is definitely a part of it. I'll also tell you, Chip, which you've heard this before, our listeners that listen every day, if you're new, appreciate you. They've heard this before. The power forward spot is just so bad. And Declan Daru, why is he not getting a chance? Because it can't get much worse. They're trying. Sean Miller's trying everything. Nick Cody, he's trying. That's not working. Cam Hyde, sometimes it works, but when you play against quad one teams, when you get to SEC play, it's going to be tough for Cam Hyde to play your four against other power forwards like I'm just talking about. Lacina and Mathis, we talked about it yesterday. When you have those guys in at the same time and one's playing the four and the other's playing the five, that just clogs up so much down low. It's going to make life difficult for Tremont Mark and Dalen Swain to get in the paint because everybody's down there because your bigs have to be down there. So I saw Daru last night. He had a reverse layup that I haven't seen Cam Hyde or Nick Cody do. And he just looks different out there. He's 6'9", 235. He has to have over a 7-foot wingspan. You could just tell with how rangy he is and how he moves. I have no idea what's going on in practice. I don't know. He could be the worst practice player of all time. Unlike Mathis, unlike Lacina, I think this is his first time living in the States. Mathis was in Florida last year. Lacina played for Long Beach, and then he moved to Cincinnati to be with Sean Miller at Xavier. They've had time to get acclimated to the American culture. For Daru, I think this is his first time being here from Munich, Germany, and being in Europe where he was playing in those leagues. So I really think that set him back, and he got here later than everybody. So he's just not only trying to figure out the game, he's trying to figure out life and school, like language barrier. Like, come on now. English ain't his first language. So you're getting thrown into the curriculum at UT. Like, there's only so much tutoring you could get. So I'm giving him a lot of grace, but also, man, Sean Miller, you can't do much worse than what you have at the fourth spot right now. Give the dude some minutes. He's going to mess up. He's going to mess up. Everyone messes up. Like, he's going to have mistakes where he'll turn the ball over. He might lose an assignment defensively. He might airball a shot. He might not get the ball to the right person when y'all drew up a play to get the ball to the right person. Those things happen. But you got to let guys work through stuff. Like what I saw last night, that is a promising player. And I think he should get more opportunities. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. Real quick, before Hummer jumps on, the Texas women, number 2, undefeated. They're playing tonight at Moody Center, and they're playing Northwestern State.
Bless them.
And we should see the season debut of Ashton Judd, who cracked her kneecap before the season and is expected to play limited minutes tonight. And then you should have Brianna Preston on the floor against Southeastern Louisiana on Sunday, and then Aaliyah Crump back from her foot injury on the 28th. They open SEC play on January 1st. So the Texas women who've beaten UCLA, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Baylor, all top 13 teams with a 7-player rotation, about to expand back to a 10-player rotation with Ashton Judd and Brianna Preston. Brianna Preston's almost ready to go. Vic said that she was practicing and looking good, but I mean, he loves her. He talks about how Rory's fast. Brianna is electric. And Roy Harmon is playing the best basketball of her career. I mean, she leads the nation in assist to turnover ratio. She's already the assist leader. If she scores 2 points tonight, she'll become the 4th player ever to score 1,400 points with 800 assists, joining Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionescu, and Georgia Amore.
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah, that's a list. That's a list right there. Yeah, this 10-player rotation, if it happens, like we'll see how it goes. You expect it to happen, but right now, I wouldn't mess with the starting lineup, whether it's Bria Sidbury or Taya Sidbury, or Justice Carlton. I'd keep one of those two at your power forward spot. I think Bria Cunningham, she's really benefited from these injuries because she's gotten a lot more playing time with that. Jordan Lee has been terrific. Like, obviously, Madison Booker, this team, they're just that much scarier. So right now it's just kind of easing, especially Aaliyah Crump. I worry about Ashton Judd because she's never played for Vic Schaefer before. So not only does she have to overcome her knee injury, she has to get used to playing for Vic Schaefer. And it's not like she's going to have many easy games to do that. You're getting thrown into conference play. So it's going to be interesting how her minutes go. Brianna Preston, yeah, you have zero thought or concern about her. She'll be fine. Aaliyah Crump, I don't know how that's going to look, her coming back, because she's a freshman. Before she went out, she was super aggressive. She was really good, knocking down threes, just attacking the rim, and she's very hard on herself, which, when you're a top 5 player in the nation as a freshman, you don't deal with much adversity. So the first time you deal with adversity, she has to understand how to handle that. But what is it going to look like for her? Because I'd bring her off the bench. I'd keep Madison Booker at your 3. I think Justice Carlton and Taya Sidbury have earned their minutes at the 4. So Madison Booker doesn't have to play the 4 like she was at the beginning of the year when they had Aaliyah Crump at the 3. I think Vic was a little concerned. Okay, Taya, Justice, they're not ready yet. Them girls ready now. Them girls ready. They're ready to take all those minutes at the power forward spot. So now you can finally start to get Rory, Jordan, and Madison Booker rest. They need rest. They played a ton of minutes, and you got to be smart about their minutes in conference play. So when March comes around, they're still fresh and they don't burn out.
Yeah, I agree with that. Justice Carlton, she's averaging 11 points and 5 boards the last 4 games.
Her senior year, she's going to be first team All-American. I really think that. I think she's that good because she's still, we still haven't seen her ceiling. Like, she uses angles well. She uses her body well. Her defense, like when they're doing their full court man-to-man, she gets a lot of steals, and she just has really good instincts. And she was another player that I thought she would have been even better last year, but mentally, I don't know if she was 100% there because she was getting over that ACL injury that she suffered in high school. Now that she's had a year to get over that, being in her sophomore year, she doesn't have to wear the brace anymore, and she looks completely confident out there, and she's really balling. And she can hit the 3 too. Like, you can't sleep on her. Like, she's hit a couple of 3s this year. She is as versatile as it gets at that power forward position in the nation. And the fact that teams are going to be keying in on Rory, Jordan, and Madison, where you could just throw the ball to Justice Carlton one-on-one and say, yo, go get us a bucket, and it actually work. Vic Schaefer, he has a lot of options, and that's what makes this Texas team really scary.
Yeah, Justice Carlton had 4 steals against Baylor. Jordan Lee had 4 steals. Yeah. Edison Booker had 3 steals. Like, that was insane what they did to Baylor. Baylor's a 13th ranked team, came in 10-1. You know, they got Little Page Bugs, and they still got some players who can cause you problems. Talia Scott, I know, got hurt, but they turned them over 30 times and led in points off turnovers 42-2. I've never seen that.
Yeah. And
Vic said, listen, Baylor's good. We just played that good. All right. We got to grab our man Hummer, because he's slaving over a hot laptop. He's breaking stories left and right. He knows more than he can even tell us. Hole in one, Hummer. How you doing, Hummer?
Doing good, man. What's up?
What's up, Hummer?
We're just trying to wait for your next tweet to learn some news. Get some scoop. Anything you've broken in the last 5 minutes that we need to promote?
No, definitely not. I don't think so.
Right.
I appreciate it though. Unless you care about a former, like a Florida linebacker going in the portal, I don't think that's necessary.
I mean, unless he's coming to Texas.
I don't think he's quite Texas quality anymore. He was a top 100 recruit back in the day. So
okay.
But yeah, nothing Texas wise for you at the moment.
Okay, at the moment. Stay tuned. Make sure you're following Hummer on the social media.
Chris, not all of us can break that Arch Manning's coming back to school trip. Like,
hey, I just confirmed what everybody suspected, but hey, no one had reported. So I said, I'll do it for everybody. I'll do it. And, lo and behold, ESPN, College Football Live yesterday, they lead with Arch Manning returning. So anyway, Hummer, we got playoff football. Who do you like? OU, Alabama.
I like Alabama. Sorry.
Okay.
I like Alabama. I don't know if y'all remember that game. Chip's probably too busy being famous on College Football Live to go back and grind the tape like he did. But Alabama outgained Oklahoma by about 200 yards the first time and managed to lose. They had 3 turnovers in that game. They got stopped in the red zone almost every time. Like, they just kind of shot themselves in the foot over and over again. I think they ran out of toes at that point. And I just think it's a game that Alabama's the better team. I've had questions about Oklahoma's offense all year. Yes, it's more difficult to do that in Norman. That first game was in Tuscaloosa, but Alabama, I just have more trust in Alabama. I'm happy to roll with Alabama on the circuit.
Are they healthy enough?
They're not the healthiest, but they are still more talented than Oklahoma, and I can still count on their offense to produce points, at least at a reasonably consistent rate, even though that offense has been kind of suspect in the second half of the year as well. I don't know. Maybe you're talking me out of my own point, but I've been on this island that Oklahoma would get bounced in the playoff very quickly since about week 6. And I'm not jumping off of that. I think this Oklahoma team is inherently flawed and is going to struggle against Alabama.
Yeah. What have you seen that's changed with John Mateer since that Texas game, Hummer? Because obviously you could use the thumb as an excuse, but it's beyond that, it seems like. And clearly the running game doesn't help anyone. But John Mateer seemed like a player before the thumb injury that could save the Sooners more than he's doing now, and at times looks like a liability.
Yeah, I think you have to take the thumb injury into account, right? Because if you look at his production the first 4 games of the year versus everything after, it's been night and day. He's been a totally different quarterback. And I think what you're seeing now is a quarterback who's not as confident, or maybe he isn't spinning it as well as he usually does, but he still has the same tendencies that he did before. He was a gunslinger, he's a risk taker, and that results in some turnovers. I mean, he threw 3 picks against LSU. They should have lost that game, like they did to Texas, because of the way John Mateer played. That defense played well enough to bail him out, but This is a guy who doesn't frankly have a ton of help on Oklahoma. The running game hasn't been there all year. It's just an okay offensive line, just okay receivers outside of Isaiah Santanga. And you see John Mateer try to do too much. And I think when John Mateer tries to do too much, he gets in a little bit of trouble. And we've seen that pop up from time to time this year. And it hasn't really gotten Oklahoma in that much trouble, but it could in the playoffs.
Okay. Have you picked your bracket?
Yeah, I had Ohio State beating Texas Tech in the national championship game.
Ooh.
Okay. A lot of Texas Tech love. So
I just think they have the best defensive line in college football. And
Yeah.
if you have the best defensive line in college football and really the best front seven in college football, that can take you a really long way.
Yeah, we talked about it. They're giving up 56. What is it? 68.5 yards per game on the ground. That's, I was telling Zay, that's better than what Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy were giving up, in 2023. So I don't know if
they're outrageously good up front. Like that front seven is, I know people just say it's the Big 12, it's just the Big 12, but if you put them in the SEC, that front seven, which has probably 5 or 6 draft picks on it, is gonna be successful no matter wherever you put them.
Well, Hummer, the crazy thing is you've got 7 playoff teams are the 7 best run defenses. Number 1, Texas Tech. Number 2, James Madison. Number 3, Indiana. Number 4, Georgia. Number 5, Oklahoma. Number 6, Ohio State. Number 7, Miami. Those are the top 7 run defenses in FBS right now. And they're all playoff teams.
I mean, it turns out stopping the run is important. And
So-
I mean, if you go back to the last couple of national champions, like it's obvious. Like Ohio State won a national championship with an elite defense last year. Texas found that out in the game they played against them in the semifinals. That was a really, really good front and controlled the run game. The Georgia's back-to-back national championship teams were both elite run defenses. Like this is a commonality and it's a theme in this era of college football. Like you really do need to be able to stop the run, especially when you see teams play so much cover 2, right? Like we don't used to see as much as we do now, but they play the deep ball. Like they dare you to run at them. And if you can stop the run and also prevent deep kind of chunk plays, like through the middle of the field and kind of on the third level, like you're going to be very difficult to score against.
All right. So what happens between A&M and Miami in College Station at 11 a.m.? Boy, did Miami get lucky on that.
Yeah. Coming into this game, I was convinced I was going to pick A&M, and I ultimately did. But if you dive into the numbers in this game, it's a lot closer than you would anticipate, and I anticipated. And I do agree that 11 a.m. kick is very fortunate for them, the Miami fans. But I think this game comes down to a couple things. One, which quarterback takes care of the ball. We've seen Marcel Reed, including against Texas, be a little loose with it at times. Carson Beck's been really loose with it for 2 years now. He's cost his teams multiple games the last 2 seasons, going back to Georgia. And now Miami. Whoever runs the ball better is going to have a pretty big advantage here. These are 2 really, really good run defenses. Both run games have been up and down this year. Le'Veon Moss's status is kind of in question with A&M. And then 3, game control. And game control to me, like, is turnovers, an area that Miami's been pretty decent at this year. But it's also decision-making. And, it's Mario Cristobal in late games. So we'll see what happens.
Right.
But I picked the Aggies. It's not a pick I feel great about, but I picked them to cover. I just think they've been slightly better all year, and I trust them a little bit more.
Yeah. So it's Colin Klein calling plays in this game, Homer?
I would be lying. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head. I believe Colin Klein is still working there, but I'm not 100% sure on that, to be honest.
Okay. Let me ask you this about Ohio State, because you just said that's your pick to win the whole thing. Did Indiana expose anything with Ohio State in that Big Ten championship game, or do you think they'll be able to handle it like they did last year after the loss to Michigan and regroup and go on the run?
I think Ohio State's going to be fine generally. But, yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit. Going into that game, I had some questions about Ohio State's ability to run the ball consistently in the offensive line. And I think we saw that against Indiana. They struggled to do that with any consistency, and it cost them. made it more difficult for them to put up points. Julian Sane didn't look as comfortable because he had a little bit more pressure in his face than he's had all year. And not every team is Indiana. Not every team is that sound to get that much pressure on them, but it's certainly a challenge. But the good news is for Ohio State, I mean, Georgia aside, Georgia's a problem. They are in the easier half of the bracket, in my opinion, because they're in the half of the bracket that does not include Oregon and Texas Tech in addition to Georgia. So I think the path is still reasonably favorable for them, but it could absolutely cost them.
Hummer, Chris Bennett wants to know, how badly did John Summerall botch the DJ Lagway interview?
Yeah. So I reported that the meeting obviously did not go well. It could have definitely gone better. I think the two sides went into the meeting expecting to hear different things, and the messages delivered did not necessarily excite either side of that. I know DJ Lagway didn't necessarily want to leave Florida. I think the expectation going into like late last week was that he was going to stay at Florida, but Summerall kind of pushed him, told him the wrong things, didn't give DJ what he wanted to hear, which was like a plan to develop you, that we're going to let you compete for the job, like this and that. Like Summerall talked about like his competitiveness and like his injury history and his work ethic. And I think Summerall might've got some bad intel from the old staff on the way out the door. And the result is like DJ Lagway is no longer a Florida Gator, which is a shocking thing. If you think about where we were a year ago when DJ Lagway was just as hyped as Arch Manning in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Okay. So rumors, Baylor, Miami, LSU for DJ Lagway. Do you have a favorite?
I think it's kind of early with all of that. Baylor is obviously where his dad played. He is a Texas native, obviously. There's a lot of ties linking him here. I think of Miami and LSU, Louisville, Stanford, Florida State, like all of these schools can be in play and are gonna make a swing at DJ. But he's the guy that comes with this decent share of risk. Like, I mean, DJ Lagway is somebody with number 1 overall pick upside. I say that without any doubt in my mind. Like, if DJ Lagway is right, he can be the number 1 overall pick in the 2027 NFL draft. But he's also somebody with an injury history that kind of scares you a little bit and some mechanical issues this year that dragged him down. And he could be like a guy that you pay a lot of money for and miss on. So teams are going to have to balance that.
Yeah. Which G5 school has a better chance of pulling off the upset, Hummer, James Madison, or Tulane?
Tulane does. Not just because they have already played and that gives you some intel you need. It's just like, I think the gap between Oregon and James Madison and the gap between Tulane and Ole Miss is a little closer. I think both of them are pretty significant, but I think Tulane has more of the necessary horses in the line of scrimmage, along the lines of scrimmage, to make it a game. Do I think it will be much of one? No. I mean, if you go watch the first game those two teams played, it wasn't even close. But if I have to pick one of those two, I'm going to pick Tulane as the more likely team to make it a game.
Jake Retzlaff, baby. Come on.
That man looks like he's 44. So
it's amazing. It's amazing. What do you any thoughts on Quinn Ewers starting for the Miami Dolphins against the Bengals this week?
I think it's going to be cool to see Quinn. I think he has all the tools to be successful in that offense and the way they run it, but we'll see how that one goes. I think it's probably a very exciting time for him and his family. And it's weird to think he went in the 7th round, but he's getting an opportunity to start in year 1 of the NFL. And that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
You got one more, Zay?
Yep. Fernando Mendoza winning the Heisman, Hummer. You like it? And your thoughts on how Diego Pavia handled not winning the Heisman?
I would have voted. I mean, I do not have a vote, to be frank. Not all of us can be Chip Brown over here.
Right.
But I would have voted for Diego Pavia. I really thought he was the best player in college football this year. I think making Vanderbilt a 10-win team is insane, and doing in the SEC is very impressive. But I get why Fernando Mendoza was the pick. As for how he handled it, not very classy. But like Diego is a one-of-one personality, and I mean, I like entertaining players, and he's certainly entertaining.
Hummer, I know you got to bounce. We appreciate you, dog. Let's do it again next week.
Absolutely, guys. Look forward to it. Okay.
Thanks, Hummer.
There he is, Chris Hummer, hole-in-one Hummer. He is moving and shaking. Make sure you follow him on the social media, Chris_Hummer.
Yeah,
because he's been all over the portal action. He and Matt Zenitz doing a great job. What was that, Zay?
Yeah, Pavia said, F you guys. F you voters, Chip.
CB says that a voter went at Pavia.
For real? Who was that?
I don't know.
Was it anonymous? Come on,
CB's
don't be
all over it.
anonymous. Let it be known that you mad. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Diego.
Let's see here.
They're going to beat the hell out of Iowa.
I want to get this voter's name because I wonder if he'll have a vote next year. Or she. Let's see here. Okay. Chase Goodbread. Chase Goodbread. He's a guy who's covered the SEC, Alabama, for a long time. And Chase Goodbread said, columnist for the Tuscaloosa News, he slammed Pavia. F me, Diego, Goodbread wrote. For the first time, I cast a Heisman Trophy ballot last week, and Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia didn't like it. He called out Pavia's jackassery, quote, unquote, and classless, quote, move. And
I would say he's a kid, but he's like 30, so I can't say that. Like, he's a kid. He doesn't know what he's doing, but nah, Diego Pavia is a grown-ass man that's probably too old to be on his parents' health insurance.
Goodbread said, quote, he's a big boy now, old enough to have more than one college degree, old enough to beat the NCAA in court to gain an extra year of eligibility, and old enough to make the pile of NIL money that came with that. Old enough to know better and old enough to handle some criticism. There you go.
Look at Chase speaking up for the voters.
Look at him. Look at him. He's getting after it.
23. Okay, I ain't that old. My man, XA. I ain't that old. But still, come on, Diego.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on, man.
He got little man syndrome. He like 5'9".
Right.
He's a small guy.
I don't know if you're going to talk about this in the right call or not. The NBA Cup.
No, I wasn't, but we could talk about it.
What do you make of this? Because they're talking about, hanging banners for the NBA Cup. It's only 3 years old, right?
Yeah, the Lakers won it 2 years ago. The Bucks won it last year, and the Knicks won it this year. Please don't hang it up. I think the Lakers and the Bucks hung up some banner for a year, though. Just a year. I don't think it's still there, though.
Okay. The Knicks say they won't.
I don't know.
The Knicks say they won't.
Good for the Knicks. Good.
What do you like this?
The NBA Cup?
Yeah.
No, I don't like it at all.
Do you think it's any kind of precursor? Do the guys play harder?
Yeah, because they want to make the however much, the 6 figures. I don't know what it is with taxes, but they want to make it for the guys, the 15th and 14th men. Like, I think it's cool for them, but does Jalen Brunson really need another 100K? That's right. What I'm like. Which if he gives it out, like, that's one of those, okay, I get this money, I'm going to buy gifts for all my homies on Christmas. Like, hopefully guys like LeBron and Giannis, guys who have won it in the past, hopefully, they spread it out with the team and stuff. Like, that's the only reason why it's cool. But besides that, I'm good without it.
Okay. Okay.
NBA games are still going on. It's just, Not last night. So
How you feeling about my Pistons?
good. Really good. Really good. Those dudes, like Cade Cunningham, there's a reason why he was the former #1 pick. He's just gliding out there. Like, he doesn't look like he's breaking a sweat ever. He's gigantic. People forget he's 6'7", 6'8". His ball handling skills are ridiculous. The other night, he hit a dagger on Derek White. Derek White's one of the best defenders in the league for the Celtics. And he gets in the lane. He puts Derek White on his hip like he's a little baby. And he does this like spin move step back. That was as smooth as a Curtis Mayfield pimped out jacket. And he knocks down the jumper and is just not phased. He's a Dallas, Texas kid that's just not phased. And they got a lot of good pieces. Tobias Harris is playing good in his role. We talked about Duncan Robinson being that shooter that they needed last year that they didn't have. Jalen Duren is one of the most versatile bigs in the league. They deserve all the success that they're getting right now. And this is a perfect time to rule the East. Halliburton, not available. Tatum, not available. So this is the year that, hey, the East, got to capitalize on it. Knicks, Pistons, you got to take advantage of these injuries right now. Giannis got problems in Milwaukee. I know nobody's really touching the Thunder, but if you're in the East and you make it out, you're going to be a lot fresher than the team that makes it out in the West, in my opinion. So, yeah, shout out to the Pistons. Shout out to Thompson twin. He's a problem, but it starts with Cade Cunningham, who is going to be a first-team All-NBAer this season.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't have it all, Chip. Like, you talk about your Lions being down, but look at the bright side. The Pistons are up. You know, that's just.
Yeah, Tigers had it all, lost it all, got it back, then lost it all again. But hey, at least they're getting into these playoff situations. The Lions, I need the Packers to collapse. I need them to collapse.
What about my man Matthew Golden?
How's Matt Golden doing? Let's take a look. See.
Kind of been a struggle. Not gonna lie.
Let's see how Matthew Golden's doing. I like Matthew Golden.
I love Matthew Golden. Baron Sorrell too.
Yeah. Baron Sorrell, how's he doing? All right, so Matt Golden, 27 catches, 341 yards, no touchdowns.
Damn, not one? Gunnar Helms over here breaking Tennessee Titans record.
Gunnar Helm broke the rookie receptions record for the Tennessee Titans. He got 41 catches. Guess whose record he broke?
Bo Scaife.
Bo Scaife. Bo Scaife had the rookie tight ends receptions record of 37. Back when he was catching passes from Vince Young in the early 2000s with the Tennessee Titans. Here comes Gunnar Helm. Helm, baby.
Yeah.
Don't count him out.
Something has to go positive for Tennessee. It's been a rough one. Poor Cam Ward. I feel bad for that dude. But this is what comes with being the #1 pick. Your team's going to suck. That's why they're the #1 pick in the first place. You just got to stick with it.
Gunnar Helm, 41 catches, 347 yards, 2 touchdowns. Let's go.
Yeah.
Rookie. That guy's going to be a player. That guy's going to be a player. I'm just telling you. He's the next Jake Ferguson, you know?
That's not a bad
Next,
life.
Dalton Schultz.
My man Ferguson getting married to Cavender soon. Jake Ferguson's got it made. Good living. Good living. Have you been watching Hard Knocks, NFC East?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. It's all
I missed
right.
last night's.
Yeah, I haven't
And
seen
they were all talking about Phillip Rivers.
Were they?
Dak was talking about, Phillip Rivers, and Dak actually, he knew some stuff. Like he kind of looked into it. He knew I don't know if he knew that Drew Brees was the last guy to, well, I don't know. It was interesting. I just saw like a little clip of it, and they were going from the Cowboys talking about Phillip Rivers to the Redskins talking about Phillip Rivers to the Eagles. So that was the hot topic.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not caught up, so I gotta catch up. But what I've seen so far, it's been good. It's been good. I mean, Giants and Commanders suck, but Cowboys aren't that good either. But it's still cool. Like, I love Hard Knocks. I love that the NFL does that. Give me all the backstage access you could possibly get. Like, I want to see what's really going on. So
yeah.
And plus it gives me a different perspective on guys that I wouldn't really think are good guys, from an outside view. Like Nick Sirianni, like, he's not great, but I like him a lot more than I did before watching this. So I can appreciate what Hard Knocks does and making people more personable.
Yeah. What's the best season of Hard Knocks you've ever seen?
I don't know. That's a good one.
I mean,
nothing really sticks out.
They did the Lions a couple of years ago. That was awesome. Remember when they did the Jets in old boy Rex was the coach?
Ryan?
Yeah, Rex Ryan.
Kind of.
Let's go eat a goddamn snack. I'll never forget that quote. He was like all fired up talking about stuff, and he's like, "Now let's go eat a goddamn snack." It was like, okay, we don't know how to turn it off. We'll just go cussing into our snack.
Yeah, that
I didn't know they had snack time either. I didn't know they had snack time.
I mean, you gotta fuel up,
right?
They slam 1 million Uncrustables a year. I forgot the stat on that.
What now?
There's a crazy stat on how many Uncrustables, the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches without the crust that you can get in the freezer section of grocery stores. The NFL makes a killing, or they make a killing off the NFL, because I don't know the stat. Let me look it up on the Googles. Oh man!
Wow, that's a nugget,
right?
That's a nugget.
Over 80,000 Uncrustables a season. Individual teams are consuming anywhere from 3,600 to 4,300 weekly during peak times like training camps, games. They are very popular to fuel the players.
How about that?
Crazy. They slam. I can't even front. They hit like the strawberry ones, grape. If you ever on the run, they slam, because I'm not a big, especially on peanut butter and jelly, I'm never a big crust guy. If I eat like a turkey sandwich or something like that, I'm cool with the crust. But PB&J, I never liked the crust on PB&J. It was weird. I always used to take it off as a kid. So when the Uncrustables came out, I'm sure my mom was pissed that they came out later than when I stopped getting my lunch made for me, because that would have saved her a lot of time, man. Just throwing a couple of Uncrustables in the bag. I'm sure parents everywhere definitely thriving from the Uncrustable game.
I love it.
Yeah.
There you go. There's
And-
a little.
And they got, what's the sun butter? What's the other butter if you're allergic to peanuts?
Almond butter?
No, it's still a nut. There's a certain butter that tastes like peanut butter. I can't think of it right now, but it's a substitute for the ones who are allergic. They got those too.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, let's get a couple mentions in here and we'll get going toward the commentary. The chip shot, the right call. And hey, how about this? How about treating yourself to better health this holiday season? Thanks to Humann with 2 N's. Humann, they're scientific-based formulas born from research right at the University of Texas Health Science Center. And these are high-end formulas. We're talking about high-end health supplements that you can't get anywhere else. And Humann's making healthy living easier for all of us, whether you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s. Humann's making it easier for you to manage your blood flow and vascular health with the cardiovascular health daily. And this is important. Write these down because I got 3 of these for you to take every day. The metabolic health daily, which is going to, help manage your blood sugar, even a little bit of weight management because you're going to feel fuller longer. And then healthy cholesterol, the Humann healthy cholesterol daily. Look, you take these 3, the cardiovascular, metabolic, and cholesterol from Humann, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel better. And don't forget about the Super Beats Heart Chews, because of course, Humann's beet-based formula is the #1 recommended by cardiologists. If you've had any kind of issue with blood pressure, you want to be on the Super Beats Heart Chews because it's going to help you regulate your blood pressure 2 times more effectively than just diet and exercise alone. Again, these are high-end scientific formulas, a lot of them based in the beet root, the beet extracts that Humann has, perfected. And that's what it's all about. Science-backed formulas that are helping you to feel better, live longer. That's what I'm absolutely banking on. And don't forget about the turmeric chews, anti-inflammation. What causes us pain when we go work out or we extend ourselves? Inflammation. The turmeric heart chews going to help you regulate that. And I take the Super Beats powder, the Super Beats sports powder. That's what all the UT athletes take. I take it about 30 minutes before I go work out. Here's the beautiful thing. You go to Humann with 2Ns.com/TSU. Use the promo code TSU. You're going to get 20% off your first order. So load up because there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. You're going to want to let the products get into your system. Make sure you're feeling what I'm feeling, which is healthier, no brain fog. It's a beautiful thing. Go to Humann with 2Ns.com/TSU and use the promo code TSU to get 20% off your first order. Load up this Christmas season. You know what I'm saying? And hey, for my guys who are snoring, how about giving the gift of no snoring? Here's all you have to do. You heard me talk about the Sleep Cycle Center, Dr. Chad Denman, who's dedicated his life to treating sleep apnea, which is a lack of oxygen while you sleep, which is really scary because you don't even know you're suffering from it. That's why you need a sleep study. So you go to sleepcyclecenters.com. You tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you, and Dr. Chad is going to take $100 off your sleep study, practically give it away so that you get the information you need That sleep study is going to tell you what level of sleep apnea you have, if you have it. And Dr. Chad has the best treatment options, which, from oral appliances like I have, a mouth guard that holds my lower jaw open when I sleep. So I get that oxygen, get that deep sleep, wake up rested. If you're waking up cranky and irritable, it's probably because you're waking yourself up from snoring and you might have sleep apnea. Again, go to sleepcyclecenters.com. Tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you. And get over to Cover 3. Cover 3. You got all kinds of games to watch this week. And playoffs. Got college football playoff Friday. You got Saturday. You got NFL. It's a beautiful time of year, this holiday season, to get over to Cover 3. Cover 3 Anderson. Cover 3 Round Rock. Enjoy that Sean Adams prime rib sandwich with the Parmesan fries. Go for happy hour. Happy hour 3:30 to 6:30 every day. 3:30 to close on Mondays. And the $7 social hour menu, kidding me? You're getting the firecracker shrimp for $7. Yeah. Cover 3. And hey, you ready for the big screen of your dreams? Only one number to call in Austin. That is our man, Tom McKay, AV Consultations. You call 255-8678. Again, 255-8678. Tom and his crew are going to bring everything to you, including the best price on big screens. So treat yourself. If your big screen isn't big enough for you to feel like you're on the sideline at the game, it might be time. It might be time for you to call Tom McKay and AV Consultations. 255-8678. All right. The chip shot today. Got a couple things. I am fascinated by the college football playoff. I mean, I'm fascinated because I think there are some interesting matchups, but I'm sitting here going, I don't think they got the best teams in. I don't think they got the best teams into this playoff. But what are you going to do? This is what we got. So this is what I'm trying to size up. And I just keep coming back to this. I think Kalen DeBoer is a better head coach than Brent Venables. Now, is Alabama healthy enough to go on the road and win this game? That's my only question, because Ty Simpson, I know he's not 100%, and he was killing it the first 8 games of this season. Last 4, not good. But I think Kalen DeBoer is a better coach than Brent Venables, so I'm going to pick Alabama to win this game. And Texas A&M and Miami, I'm fascinated by this because Miami, and this is what kills me about Miami. Miami on paper looks like a juggernaut. Their offensive line is good. Their deep run defense is top 7. They've got Carson Beck, who's a veteran. He's played in big games. Hasn't always won them, but he's played in big games. He's capable. Let's put it that way. But I don't trust Mario Cristobal. I don't trust him. I know Colin Klein's distracted, but Marcel Reed at home has been pretty good this year. So I'm going to take A&M to beat the Miami Hurricanes. And I'm hoping James Madison, I've already said I'm taking James Madison to cover the 21 against Oregon. Tulane, I don't know about. That whole game is a mess. I got the Lane Kiffinless Ole Miss Rebels against John Summerall and Jake Retzlaff. I know that Ole Miss beat them 45-7 earlier in the year. Tulane's going to come out firing. Jake Retzlaff is good enough to lead that offense to some points. I don't know if they cover, but I just hope we get a good game there. And then we'll talk about the semifinals on Monday. But I like Alabama and Texas A&M. And I think Oregon pulls it out against James Madison, and Ole Miss with Kewan Lacey, and who's your Trinidaddy Chambliss get it done. But I don't think they got the best teams in.
Okay. I agree. I don't think they got the best teams in either, but here we are. Which is a good segue to what I got for the right call, because I got to play a video. Steve Sarkisian going at the committee probably one last time before the season ends. But before we get to that, shout out to Covert BK, family owned and operated. It's Christmas time, and hey, what's a better Christmas present than getting a new car or a used car that's basically new at Covert BK? They're the best, man. Not about the quota. It's not about the sales. They want you to be in a car that you're comfortable with. They want you to leave the lot feeling satisfied and not like you got duped or like you got someone pull a fast one on you. That's not how Covert BK works. Trust me, I know. We got our Buick Encore GX there. In the process, it couldn't have been more lovely. We took their time, and hey, it was just easy. We took our time, got in there, we had questions. Buku amount of questions. They answered all of them. We came back the next day and we found our car and went home happy campers. So you could be like us too. If you want to start early, go to covertbk.com and see all the latest specials and inventory. Nobody beats a Covert deal. Not now, not ever. All right, Shib. Shout out to our guy, Corey Mose of KView. Corey does a terrific job. He got this video, Steve Sarkisian in Orlando at the Citrus Bowl, talks about where his team is and if he's disappointed still not making the college football playoff and what he wants to see changed and what his thoughts are on this year's committee.
Well, I think the first thing that needs to happen is we need to get clear criteria for what the committee is looking for. And not only clear criteria on what the committee is looking for, who's on the committee, and that they agree to that's the criteria. And I think that's part of the CFP's got a criteria. We form a committee. Does that committee, the people that are on that committee, agree to that criteria? And if part of the criteria, or if one of the main points, as in this year, you look at the principles of the CFP, the first bullet point is strength of schedule, then we need to honor what the criteria and what the principles are of the CFP. And so I think that's the first part. If we can lay the foundation for that, then that will directly impact what we do moving forward. And then they have to follow through with what they say is important to them. Clearly this year we didn't feel like they followed through with what the principles of the CFP were. That's why we fought for our case, and I don't feel bad about fighting for our case for the team that we had. And we played 5 top 10 ranked teams in 12 regular season games. And so, hey, we played a tough schedule. We didn't win them all. We lost a few of those games. I think we went 3-2 in the top 10 or whatever it was, which is a heck of a schedule to have and the record to have, when some teams that made it in played 1 or no top 10 teams. But all I'm saying, for speaking on behalf of, I'm sure, every coach in the country, tell us what the criteria is and then stick to the criteria. And if we're not going to value strength of schedule, then surely that's going to adjust what we do moving forward in our non-conference scheduling. We're going to 9 SEC conference games, which is unheard of, right? And so to think that we're going to play a 10th game against an Ohio State and Michigan and who knows else down the road, man, I hope we get credit for that. If not, then we really need to look, after the 27 season, because we're going to honor the Ohio State and the Michigan games with them coming back to DKR, but we need to look long and hard at that. And so we've got a 2-year snapshot now coming up of What is the committee really looking at, and what do they value? If it's just records, then everyone's going to race to the best record. If it's quality football teams and who are the best football teams, irregardless of what your record says you are, then that's going to change some things. So we'll see how it goes. We've got time, but I think some very important people have some big decisions to make on what is the criteria of the college football playoff.
Yeah, Steve, keep it real with them. They lied. They lied straight up. Like, I know he's tired of talking about it, but you can't say one thing and then when it's time to make a decision, not even stay on that one thing that you said a long time ago, strength of schedule. When it comes to Texas, we ain't talking about strength of schedule. Head to head. When it comes to Texas, we ain't talking about head to heads. Are we? Oklahoma, A&M. So, yeah, I know Sark's annoyed. I know, he's trying to move forward, but damn, like, can we have some type of reassurance that this isn't going to continue to happen year after year? Because he said it like you're basically playing a 10-game SEC schedule. Ohio State, they're basically an SEC team. So are they going to get penalized for that? Because they were this year. Say what you want about Florida. I don't think they took into account that Florida's going to have guys go to the NFL, and that's one of the toughest places to play in all of college football. They just looked at the records. So, yeah, like Sark, I'm with everything he just said. We've been talking about it since they made the college football playoff and before, when we could kind of see where it was heading due to where Texas was placed, that they were going to get hosed like they did. And, yeah, just keep it real. Like, be 100. Stop reneging on stuff, because that's trash, committee. And how they did it this year, I get that they had to end up with James Madison and freaking Tulane, but golly, it is as bad as it's been. And yeah, Steve Sarkisian has every right to say what he just said in that 2.5-minute clip right there.
Yeah. And what I took from that is Texas is very serious about keeping their options open on the Notre Dame series in 28 and 29. And I know for a fact that he and Del Conte have agreed, let's see how these two seasons go, 26 and 27, because you're playing Ohio State at home. You're playing Michigan at home. You want to get the home end of those series. You played the road games. Now at least get the home games. And then, everything up after that is up for discussion, Steve Sarkisian said. And that would be the Notre Dame series in 28 and 29. Sarkisian didn't even mention Notre Dame. He just said, we're going to honor the Ohio State and Michigan games next 2 years. And then after that, we'll see what life with 9 SEC games looks like. And if that's something, and we'll see how the committee is evaluating teams. But that Notre Dame series is looking fragile. I would almost lean toward the odds are starting to be against it.
Yeah. F Notre Dame, scary asses.
Yeah, why help their record?
Yeah, they ain't going to be playing those weak-ass teams anyway. Like, we're independent. We're so special. Oh, we didn't make the college football playoff. We don't want to play in the bowl game. We want to stick it to the committee. Okay, soft. Soft. They are soft. Anyways, so we already talked about the Knicks winning the NBA Cup yesterday. Congrats to the Knicks. Big deal. They got their money. Whatever.
$500K per man?
I don't know what it is. I thought it was just like 100K, but damn, 500K. That's some solid Skrilla. Okay, so the Knicks are pretty unserious. They have a lot of fun. Remember, these guys, a lot of them went to college together. They call them the Villanova Knicks. Brunson, Josh Hart, Bridges. They used to have DiVincenzo. They shipped him off for the Karl Anthony Towns trade. But either way, they have a lot of fun to where it's kind of like a college feel because they've known each other since college. And guys, we're stupid. Like, we mess around a lot. Some a little more than others. There were some times where I had to separate myself from my teammates because they were out of control. Kind of like what Josh Hart did last night after the game, where they're hoisting up their trophy. Josh Hart thinks that it's a good idea to stick his thumb in Jalen Brunson's ass as a joke. I have to make that clear, as a joke. But it was just a very odd thing to do, knowing that there's cameras everywhere. As you, Jalen Brunson wasn't having it, man. As you see in the video, Jalen Brunson, he realized he couldn't steal off on Josh Hart because, hey, there's TVs everywhere. But Josh Hart, man, that's out of pocket, dog. That's out of pocket. And I don't think anything's going to happen to him. You can't find the guy. But also, I'm sure the Knicks are going to be like, Josh, chill, dude. Chill. When the cameras are off, y'all do whatever the hell y'all got to do, whatever. But when the cameras are on, let's chill with all this. Because, again, I know some folks are like, yo, this is really outlandish. It is, but we've all been on different teams. There's guys that are just like this that have fun. I didn't have no fun with this. This ain't my style of fun. But I ain't gonna lie. I saw this a lot on my former teams, and I laughed because this shit's funny. And I laughed when I saw this. But yeah.
Oh my God. Now I'm like, what the hell is Josh Hart's deal?
Oh, yo, he's a weird guy. He's also the same guy that said he's drank his wife's breast milk before and was doing all that when he was talking about it, saying like it's not bad. So he's different. He's a different dude. Great role player. One of the best role players in the league. Like, great rebounder, good defender, will knock down a big shot, will get you a big bucket. Plays very well off Jalen Brunson. Again, they went to Villanova together. They've been friends for a very long time, so they have a good chemistry. He played for Jay Wright, so he knows the game. Off the court, weird guy. Like he answered the question yesterday when they asked him, what do you think of Jalen Brunson? Or I'm paraphrasing, some sort of question like that. And he was like, inch by inch, he's one of the best players in the league or the best player in the league. Inch by inch. Like, why would you say it like that? Like, you're a troll. Like, that's what he's doing. He's trolling because no one uses words like inch by inch to describe any basketball player. But it sounds a little sus. So Josh Hart, he likes to push the limits, to say the least. He likes to push the limits a little bit.
Oh, God.
On another note, as we all expected, more and more news has come out about the Chris Paul situation on why he got sent home by the LA Clippers, a team that is going to hang his jersey in the rafters when it's all said and done. Apparently, Chris Paul and the second unit, when they would practice, they would beat the starters on a day-to-day basis. Like, whenever they went ones versus twos, ones being James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, guys of that nature, other future Hall of Famers, and old-ass 40-something-year-old Chris Paul, the second teamers would win a lot of those games. And Chris Paul, he ain't a quiet guy. So he's going to let you know when he's whooping your ass, especially in practice situations. That's just the competitive nature of him. So clearly, Chip, that didn't go well with the rest of the team. During Halloween, Chris Paul hosted a party. Nobody showed up. Barely any of his Clippers teammates showed up at his party, which these are pretty famous parties. Like Chris Paul Halloween parties, that was something that was very popular on those Doc River-led Clippers teams with Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, and JJ Redick. They used to go to those, but not now. They weren't going to Chris Paul's parties now. Jeff Van Gundy apparently had to tell him, yo, man, you don't got the same pull like you used to. Chill. Chris Paul tried to make an adjustment defensively. They said, no, Chris, nah. We don't need your help right here, bruh. We got this. You're a Hall of Famer. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not one of the best point guards to ever touch a basketball and somehow made a life and succeeded at 6 foot, which I don't even think he's 6 foot. Chris Paul's 5'10". Let's keep it real. That dude's probably 5'10", 5'11" on a good day. But he don't know what he's talking about. These guys, they're too big to listen to that. They're too good to listen to what Chris Paul is bringing to the table. So get rid of him. He's whooping our ass in practice. We don't want to go to his Halloween parties. He's trying to coach us up. He's trying to be a leader. We don't like that. We're 5-20 something. But what Chris Paul's trying to do is too much. It's just it grinds my gears. He's the problem. I can't believe I will never get over that story. I'll never get over it. Like, I know Chris Paul's not the coolest guy. I know he's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I get that. But also, you're
pissed that they cut him.
Yeah. And
you would rather he would have just languished on the bench until the end of the year, and then he could retire gracefully.
Well, my thing is they make it like he's not allowed to say anything because he doesn't have it anymore. That's my biggest issue. But he had it before on the highest level you could possibly have it as a point guard. Not too many have been on the level of Chris Paul at their peak. You know, we're talking about Stockton and Oscar Robertson and Magic Johnson and Stephen Curry, Isaiah Thomas. Only a select few have been on that level of superstardom at the point guard position. So if Chris Paul's talking, I'm going to listen, man. I don't care if I'm Kawhi. I don't care if I'm Tyronn Lue. I don't care if I'm James Harden. I don't care if I'm Jeff Van Gundy. I'm going to allow him to speak. Now, I don't want him disrespecting anybody. I don't want him, calling anybody out their name where you're going to have to break up fights and squabbles because somebody, got pushed over the edge by something Chris Paul said. But I don't think he did anything like that. Now, he probably was talking crazy when they were whooping the first team's ass, playing ones versus twos. Like Chris Paul was probably talking crazy. And if that rubs guys the wrong way, then, man, y'all are soft and I don't want you on my team anyways. There's a reason why you're one of the worst teams in the league, if that's an issue. But it's always something going on with Kawhi. And maybe this was to take all the attention off the Pablo Torre story with Kawhi and Steve Ballmer, because they did a good job with that. Nobody, with all this stuff with Chris Paul, we've kind of forgotten about the Kawhi Leonard situation and if they're cheating by making up this random company to give Kawhi some extra Skrilla that he shouldn't be getting. But yeah, man, news is going to continue to come out on this Chris Paul story. I'm going to need a 30 for 30 or something like that years to come. I can't wait till Chris Paul retires where he can actually tell his truth, write a book, something, because he deserves to do that. They got to hang his jersey at some point. And now they've stained the relationship where What's that going to look like when it's time to do that? Is he going to want that? Because New Orleans, he's good in New Orleans. They're going to hang his jersey. But the Clippers, that's where most people remember Chris Paul, his time with Los Angeles. And the way that he went out, it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah. It'd be like the Lakers cutting Magic at the end of his career.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, no, but something like that. Something like that. It's close. It's close.
That's what you're most upset about, though, right? That a team that's going to hang his banner or jersey in the banner in the rafters cut the guy instead of letting him finish out the year and retire gracefully.
Yeah. Like, that's it. That's it. So,
all right, let's open up the gym. Let's bring in Patrick and Matt. What up, fellas?
Guys? What's going on, man? Yeah,
how we doing?
The Chris Paul thing is the really frustrating part is you just watched two great players in Kawhi Leonard and James Harden go to a billionaire and basically be, hey, just give us more money than we're allowed to get by the cap to suck at basketball, ruin basketball for the Clippers fans, and just literally not try. And someone came in and tried, and they went, God, we got to get rid of him. He's annoying us trying to try to win basketball games. That's what's frustrating is Steve Ballmer wants to win. They're like, okay, cut James Harden, cut Kawhi Leonard, go build a real basketball team. If those two guys ain't showing up to practice, fine them, suspend them. Like, be a hard ass, because there's two ways to be in the NBA. You can be someone to have James Harden on your team, or you can try and win a championship. Two options.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard Kawhi Leonard won 2 championships and left both teams because they made him work. He wanted to go sit in his house in San Diego. He don't like basketball. James Harden, like Kawhi Leonard and James Harden will be two dudes in the year 2050 who haven't touched a basketball in 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, they're just those dudes. And you can't win championships if you're two superstars both don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Same thing with Paul George. Paul George didn't want to be there.
Go
get somebody who wants to play basketball, like Chris Paul, who's pushing 40 and still wants to play.
Yeah. And what's synonymous with all those guys? They're all LA guys too. Yeah. So they're so comfortable being at home, familiar faces, kinfolk, and sometimes that's not always good.
No, it's not. It's not always good.
See you guys. Have a good
guys.
Enjoy the Staff DNA Cure Bowl starting right now. That's we can get going. Got it on the TV. Welcome into Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. And of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. Text line's open 512-222-9328. Or, of course, over there on the chat, Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube. It's how you get a hold of us and talk with us during the show. We love to hear from you, especially during the holiday season. I know some of you guys are starting to travel or, starting to maybe get off work or have family events or have to go watch the 17th nativity play at the school and then go to the choir rehearsal and then the choir show and everything that's happening this time of year. So we appreciate you hanging out with us. Matt, have you gotten into the festive time of year yet with all of your plans, and have things started to pick up, or is that kind of next week when you get into it?
Yeah, we already had a Christmas light viewing night where we drove around in River Oaks and Houston and looked at some Christmas lights. We're going to go again tomorrow to a different area of town, build some gingerbread houses. We've got our Christmas tree up. We turned my deer mount into Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer for the holidays.
Way to go.
So and Christmas pictures on Sunday.
Christmas pictures on Sunday. I mean, I don't have that much. Most of mine involve drinking with friends. It's kind of what most of my thing is, but that's kind of most of my thing for the most of the time. I did finish my Christmas shopping today. Nice. Feels late and early at the same time, but I'm not buying that many gifts. Not in a financial situation to go out and buy a lot of stuff, so it was a little bit easier. I just have to figure out what kids want, which is ridiculously hard, and even harder the older you get. You're like, I have no idea what these kids want. So you just kind of got to keep asking people and be like, is there anything that they want that's under $300? Because everything they want, like, well, what do they want? They want, like, oh, they want this really nice thing, and you're like, why can't That's not happening.
I have 8 nieces and nephews.
Oof.
So typically my go-to move is gift cards, just Visa gift cards.
Okay.
Put this towards something you like. One year I made the mistake of getting my brother's kids the gift cards first. And I was like, oh, $100 is good. And then I was like, oh shit, I still have to get my sister's kids and I can't get them less than I gave my brother's kids. So I ended up spending $800 on gift cards and it was the worst idea ever. So we're knocking that down to 50.
I would have used those gift cards to buy other gift cards. Rip it open. All right, we're buying $50 gift cards for everybody. We're knocking this down.
That actually would have been smart.
Hey, look, I'll be honest. I think Visa gift cards are cool. I think cash is always better, but I also am an adult. If you're a kid, the Visa gift card might be better because you don't have access to it. But I know sometimes Visa gift cards have been problems of getting the last like $4 off of them.
Yeah.
So you have to find a place where you can do it where it's not just going to be declined. That was the thing. You're like, oh, so I found that before, but it's good for a lot of stuff. They are very good for a lot of stuff. I've gotten plenty of them in my day. And they work pretty well across the board for everything you want to get with them. But yeah, it's getting closer to that time, and I keep, as someone who doesn't have a decorated house or anything else, it does not feel particularly festive. Today it's been rainy and everything. I walked the dog. It's kind of you're not feeling necessarily where it's full there. I don't know if the decorations have been as much around the neighborhood. It feels maybe they're a little late with them this year. It feels like there's probably still going to be like this weekend will be the last houses getting their stuff up, which is a little late for it normally because the other houses got it up after Halloween, which I thought was way too early. So it's a really fine window, but I'm trying to get more in the holiday spirit. I'm trying to, now that we're like 8 days away, I'm trying to get more into it. But it is what it is as you get older. We got a lot to get into today. Going to talk some more bowl games, talk some more portal, get into our NFL power rankings later, talk a little bit about the new quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, new stored-in quarterback of the Miami Dolphins as well.
Who might that be?
We'll get into Texas versus Lemoyne last night as well. That was another thing that happened. And I'll bring up the Spurs losing. Spurs losing in the NBA Cup. Wasn't all bad, but it was we'll get into all of that as the show goes on. But Matt, I did want to start off with a little bit about some of the bowl game season has started. So we talk about the holidays and everything else. And there was a decent one that I missed, and it turned out to not be really decent, but it was one that I would have watched, which was Washington and Boise State. Ends up Washington blows out Boise State 38-10 in the bucked up LA Bowl. But that one has already happened. That one was on Saturday. But now we start to get into a little bit more games. Last night we had the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. Doesn't sound like a real thing, but it is. That was a real one. Right now we're having the Staff DNA Cure Bowl with Old Dominion versus South Florida. Tonight you get the 68 Ventures Bowl, Louisiana versus Delaware. Is that the final LA Bowl? They're getting rid of that one, CB? I did not know they were getting rid of it, but it was a decent one. The bucked up LA Bowl was not bad there at SoFi, at least of a matchup. So, Matt, I wanted to kind of get your opinion, as there's still plenty more. There's football almost every day of the week now. We are getting plenty more football, but, some of these games are better to watch than others. So I've got some of my top bowl games, Matt. I wanted to see if you had an opinion about your top bowl games. We know that the best bowl game is the Texas bowl game, and that's not necessarily homerism or anything else. It just is the most interesting bowl game outside of the playoffs, of course, but the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, Michigan versus Texas, you look through every bowl game, is going to be the most interesting. What other bowl games, Matt, are you looking at that you kind of like the matchup? You like the two teams, you like what you're going to see, and like just a little bit. We can give some people some other things to watch here over the next few weeks of some decent games. We'll go over the big ones, and then we'll kind of look at some of them that are coming up.
Well, the first one that jumps to mind for me is the FCS championship game between Montana and Montana State. I think that's going to be an awesome one. No, but Look, I don't know, man. Like Penn State and Clemson would have been interesting if this was a playoff game, but both of those teams suck. So I don't think that like the names are cool, but I don't think that one's going to be any good.
At the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. You always have to say the name.
Yeah.
The names are the best part about a lot of these
Yeah.
bowls.
The Pop-Tarts Bowl is pretty interesting. BYU against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I had that on my list. That's an interesting one. That's on December 27th, 2:30 game for the Pop-Tarts Bowl. But that's an interesting one, Matt, because Georgia Tech versus BYU is an ACC team in Georgia Tech that we saw have a lot of hype in it. I don't know if Haynes King's going to play in this game or not. But you assume that this is going to be a matchup between two teams that are BYU. Are they going to be pissed off and come in and just try and run Georgia Tech out of the building? Or in the battle of ACC versus Big 12, does Georgia Tech take the shot back at them in this one? We know Georgia Tech has a lot of talent across the board, and BYU is a little bit more of top heavy, I think, in their talent. They paid for a little bit more talent than Georgia Tech, just comes from Atlanta. So they have a lot of like talented young players. So it's going to be an interesting mix of BYU seeing if they can keep their high level talent still playing ready to go in this game, or is it going to be Georgia Tech who just has, some more guys that with the opt-outs are going to be able to play better?
Well, I just looked it up while you were talking. Haynes King is playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. So I think that gives Georgia Tech a distinct advantage because I think he's a much better quarterback than Bear Bachmeier. He also doesn't wear a gross number. And I think BYU's a fraud. I really do. So the thing that concerns me about Georgia Tech, and really the only thing that concerns me, is Buster Faulkner is leaving. I don't know if he's coaching in the bowl game or not. I have not seen. Yeah. But when you have a new play caller, or if that play caller is still there and he's, kind of double handling these duties, I think that can play a negative effect. So that would be my only concern there for Georgia Tech. But I think that they're going to win the game.
Yeah, and it just that's one of those ones. If Georgia Tech wins against BYU and BYU doesn't get we had 15 guys opt out, then it is even worse news for BYU and we should have been in the playoffs conversation. Because these are the big ones of, without that whole conversation. I mean, it's the same thing for Texas. If Texas gets, raced by Michigan, even if over half of our defensive starters are not playing in the game, we did see Jalen Gilbo announce today that he is going to be entering the NFL draft, which is no surprise. That does go with everything we've seen, that he will not be participating in the bowl game. But, even if you look at that, it doesn't really matter. The narrative is still, well, you guys were complaining about not being in the playoffs, and you can't even beat Michigan. And so that, whether it's good or not, that is the national narrative that surrounds these teams that are around the bowl play, around playoff like ranking when they go in the bowl game. It's one of the reasons Notre Dame didn't play in a bowl. It's because they couldn't afford to lose it after complaining as much as they did. I think teams like BYU and Texas and Vanderbilt have a little bit better of a leg to stand on because once the playoff rankings came out, they did not continue to bitch and moan. They said, okay, all right, we're going to go try and do what we can. So I think that one is for BYU. And it is for the final AP poll. If BYU gets smoked by Georgia Tech, they'll drop more, and Texas will be finished the season after bowls as a higher ranking. We're still trying to get that 10-game win for Texas, but it's an interesting one of the Pop-Tarts Bowl that Saturday before New Year's. That in the dead period, man, between Christmas and New Year's Eve, when nothing really gets done and no one wants to do any work, that period will have the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Also, it's just a fun bowl to watch because Pop-Tarts really goes all out for it.
Yeah, I in terms of Texas, I don't think it matters if they win the game, but I know that Steve Sarkisian really wants to win it.
Yeah, and I agree with you in one sense. I'm saying the national narrative will matter.
Yeah, no, I know. The thing that I'll say about that game, which just real quick, is if Texas can't beat Michigan with all of the drama and the coach getting fired and all of this stuff that has happened in the program, that narrative is just going to be that much louder. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
it would be a bad look. But I think they're going to win it, so it doesn't matter. The next bowl game that I think is going to be a lot of fun is the Alamo Bowl.
Yes, I'm with you.
TCU and USC. Josh Hoover versus Jordan Mailata. Great quarterback matchup. Probably going to be a lot of points scored in that one. I don't know. I don't know which way I'm leaning in this one. I tend to lean USC, but I don't know if Jacoby Lane, their top wide receiver, or Mekhi Lemon, their other top wide receiver, are going to be playing in this game. And if they don't play, then I'm going to take TCU.
Yeah, it's going to go back and forth. Because again, we're going to have to wait until the week of, and we'll see who's really playing and who's not once we get those reports. Then it becomes a little bit easier to actually make picks in these. But but that is another fun one of USC, seeing where they stand, if they can get a step forward. Seeing Maeva before next season as well is going to be a lot of fun. I like that one a lot. We can also mention another one on December 27th. CV, I think that was fake. I think we saw that was a fake one with Josh Hoover as a furry. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was fake.
I think that was a fake one, though. Kinder's Texas Bowl is another interesting one, just solely where LSU's at. Kinder's Texas Bowl is LSU versus Houston. That's a night game on December 27th. But I think that's an interesting one to see if LSU, can figure out something in the middle. Is Lane Kiffin coaching that bowl?
No, he's not.
Well, I mean, Ole Miss just hired Frank Wilson.
But he's going to coach. I think he's going to coach the Texas Bowl and then come to Ole Miss.
So what you're saying?
Massive hire by Ole Miss, by the way.
So we're saying that Ole Miss is allowing an LSU coach to stay at LSU to coach, but not letting an LSU coach come back to coach.
Wait, say that again.
Ole Miss is allowing an LSU coach to stay at LSU to coach, but not allowing an LSU coach to come back to Ole Miss to coach.
Well, they're allowing their offensive coordinator to come back.
I know it's a weird thing. It's just funny because it's all this back and forth between those two schools.
Well, I think that the craziest thing that I saw out of the whole thing is that Ole Miss and LSU are basically swapping 17 coaches or something like that between the two schools.
Jeez, that's crazy.
It's wild.
But I just want to see what LSU like. If there's if there's guys playing to stay at LSU, or if everyone's checked out, and then Houston gets to get a big bowl win, even if LSU doesn't show up, it's a big bowl win for Houston.
Yeah,
if they come in and beat an LSU, because again, these are things that you go in like 2-3 years, they'll just be like, no, Houston beat LSU, and it was a big. I mean, it's a fun matchup too because I think the Texas Bowl is in Houston, right?
It is, yes.
So you get Houston and LSU have two giant fan bases in Houston. I know Houston should have a giant fan base, but LSU has a big fan base in Houston as well. It's not a far drive from LSU. So that, I just think that's a fun matchup to be played in Houston for the Texas Bowl. I think that all of that is fun for what they get to do there.
Here, I'm trying to find the list of opt-outs. But here's what I think is going to happen here's what I think is going to happen in this game. I think LSU is going to be checked out.
Yeah.
I don't think that they really care about this game. Garrett Nussmeier is opting out, or he's injured, so he's ruled out. Aaron Anderson is out. Nick Anderson is injured. Whit Weeks is opting out. Mansour Delane is opting out. Ashton Shamps is opting out, or he's in the transfer portal. Caden Durham, I think, is going to enter the transfer portal as well. Ahmad Bro is going to be in the transfer portal. They have a lot of guys that are opting out, but Houston does as well. Stephon Johnson, Rashawn Sanford are both injured. David Ndukwe is injured. But here's what I think is going to happen. LSU is going to be checked out. They don't care. They just want to move on. Frank Wilson's going to be like, well, I'm not going to be here anyway. Why do I give a shit if we win this game? And Houston is going to go all out. And then the Big 12, despite all of that, the Big 12 fan base is going to be like, see, we're better than the SEC. Screw the SEC. Houston beat the worst bowl team in the SEC. It's like, all right, whatever helps you sleep at night, buddy.
I don't know. I think it'll be fun. It could be a blowout, but I think it'll be fun. Another fun one, Matt, is happening the game before the Citrus Bowl with Texas is the ReliaQuest Bowl. Vanderbilt versus Iowa. This will be Vanderbilt and Clark Lee trying to show that they, again, are a team that deserves to be in that conversation and go out there. Do we know if Pavia is playing?
I mean, who cares?
Because if Pavia is playing, then you expect Vanderbilt to win by 30. But if Pavia doesn't play, then it's going to be like 8-12.
Honestly, man, I think he's going to be like, well, I got to prepare for the NFL draft, and he'll make some sort of show about it, and then he won't get drafted.
Well, he's not going to get drafted because he's 5'6".
Yeah,
he's shorter than Doug Flutie.
Is there somebody who has hurt his image more in college football than Diego Pavia?
No, not really. But I think Diego Pavia was always a powder keg. And there were probably people who've done it, but not stars, not Heisman candidates.
Yeah.
And most of them do it once they turn pro. And then they go out and they become they say dumb things.
Johnny Manziel, maybe when he was like 19, 20 years old. But yeah. Diego Pavia is like 24. He should know better.
Did you see the Heisman voter that shot back at him?
No.
There was a Heisman voter who basically came back and goes, if you were 19 years old in your first or second year, then I think we would understand your comments and your lack of class in this. But the fact that you're in your 6th year of college, we might expect more from you. Which you're like, hey, this is 6th year of college. Maybe he should be a little bit more mature about it. Yeah, but we know when Johnny Idiot Face is his idol and mentor, it does make you think a little bit more about it. But those are some of the bigger ones I think that'll be interesting. Look, I watch bowl games because I love football. And I get they're not great and the storylines aren't great college football. But by the way, we're probably going to lose a lot of great non-conference games now too because of this. I get that bowl games aren't as good, but I'll still take football because we're going to be bitching and moaning about not having football here in 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to enjoy being able to turn on the TV and having a game on. And then, maybe sometimes see if there's a line I like, maybe do a little research into a game and put something down on it a little quick to make it a little bit more interesting. But then you also get to just, enjoy the names of some of these bowls. Tomorrow we get the Xbox Bowl. That's happening at the Star in Frisco, Texas.
Interesting.
That one is tomorrow. That's Missouri State versus Arkansas State at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco, Texas. That's tomorrow night.
Such a bad venue for a bowl game.
It is horrible. Actually, I don't know if it's bad because how big is it? It's got to be small,
it's
right?
Like 10,000 people.
Perfect.
They play high school games there.
You don't need a big place for a bowl game. There's not going to be a lot of people there. It's Missouri State versus Arkansas State. So I don't know. Maybe they all get Xbox stuff too, which will be nice of them.
I think they do.
Friday, you get the Myrtle Beach Bowl presented by Engine. I guess Engine is a thing, not the noun engine, but the company engine, the proper noun engine, not just an engine in general. Kennesaw State versus Western Michigan. You also get on Friday the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. It's another fun one. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl is always a good one. I like this one name a lot. Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans.
Hell yeah.
Played at Flagler Credit Union Stadium in Boca Raton. Toledo versus Louisville in that one.
That's a good one. If I had to pick 2 bowls to play in so far that we've listed, I would pick the Myrtle Beach Bowl and the Boca Raton Bowl.
Yeah. What about the Go Bowling Military Bowl?
Where is that?
That one is at the Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland.
Yeah, I'm out on that one.
The Bad Boy Mowers, the one you mentioned in Penn State and Clemson, is always an interesting watch because it's played on a baseball field. So it's interesting to tune in for a little bit because that one's played at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of interesting to see how they line that up. And then you remember how big baseball fields are too when you see that.
I think I found the best bowl game name.
Okay, what you got?
And I don't think it's close.
Okay.
The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl.
Yeah, Miami of Ohio versus Fresno State being played at Arizona Stadium in Tucson, Arizona. Yeah, that is the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. It's also on the CW network, which feels perfect for the Snoop Dogg Bowl.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, I think those are the best ones that we have. I don't know if there's any other really silly ones. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
Yeah, we love the Sun Bowl here in the Galatzan family in El Paso, Texas.
It is. I did not know Tony the Tiger was sponsoring it this year, though.
Yeah, the Sun Bowl used to be a big deal.
It
back
did.
In the day.
It did used to be one. This year, Arizona State versus Duke is not terrible, except for the fact that Duke. I mean, you have the ACC champions in it.
Yeah. There's I don't know if this is still the case, but there was a myth going around for a while. I don't know if it's true or not, that there are bullet holes in the side of the Sun Bowl stadium that have come over from Juarez, Mexico, and they hit the stadium. I don't know if they ever fixed that or if that's even true.
I've heard that before, yeah.
But I hope it's true.
Texas State's going to play Rice in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl there in Fort Worth. And then, yeah, the Duke's Mayo Bowl is always the grossest bowl to watch.
I will not be watching that one.
It's so gross. Every year I turn it on because I'm like, oh, football's on. And then I turn it on and then I remember and then they show usually Mike Golick. I don't know if he's still going to do it, but usually I think it's Mike Golick who agrees to do this, who goes in and then eats all the weird stuff with mayonnaise, which is so disgusting to me.
It's making me sick already.
You know just eating Oreos with mayonnaise.
I have a request.
Okay.
Let's get rid of the Duke's Mayo Bowl, number one. Just make that not a thing ever. Let's make it the Nutella Bowl or the, something that actually isn't disgusting. And then the other one is, can we come up with a better sponsor for the Citrus Bowl? Like, I love Cheez-Its. I think Cheez-Its are a tier 1 S tier snack.
But you want the Minute Maid Citrus Bowl.
But calling it the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl makes it sound like it's not a good bowl game because everybody calls it the Cheez-It Bowl. And it's not the Cheez-It Bowl. It's the most, it's the best bowl game outside of the college football playoff that we have. But let's call it the Tostitos cheese or I almost call it the Cheez-It Bowl, the Tostitos Citrus Bowl or the Minute Maid Citrus Bowl or something that is a good
the avocados from Mexico Citrus Bowl. I'm really trying to work with the word citrus in here.
Something else.
Can we get the Margaritaville Citrus Bowl sponsored by Margaritavilles across? I don't know how many of those there are left after Jimmy Buffett passed away. I don't know if we're still got a lot of those Margaritavilles left, but we could, something. I get what you're saying. I think Cheez-It's a decent sponsor because they actually spend money. And one of the big things of why they have these and Pop-Tarts and those things get decent bowl games is because they actually spend money for infrastructure to make the game nice versus some of these brands who are put up some cheap banners up there, man, and we're done. And we'll walk into a bad place that's run down. We're not paying any money to fix anything up. Concession stands are half open. There you go, the Jose Cuervo Citrus Bowl.
There you go.
Is it not the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl anymore?
No, I think it's something else.
Do we get
the
rid
Verbo
of that?
Fiesta Bowl?
Oh, VRBO. I mean, they're good for getting a vacation place, but I would have thought they would have still been the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. I just think of it as I think of it as that.
See, I like the way that the Rose Bowl does it.
Presented by.
If you just did the Citrus Bowl presented by Cheez-It, I would think that would sound so much better.
Like the Myrtle Beach Bowl presented by Engine.
There you go.
So the Citrus Bowl presented by Cheez-It. I think I like that. I don't think Cheez-It does. I think Cheez-It wants its name front and center.
Yeah,
And Citrus Bowl is going to take the money.
let's just find a better sponsor. Let's go like anything else, like the Lucy Breakers Citrus Bowl, the Zen Citrus Bowl.
The worst things. The lemon scented vape Citrus Bowl.
The Copenhagen Citrus Bowl.
Oh, just awful. Just awful. I did want to ask this, though, Matt, and I'll ask this of everybody on the text line and chat as well, because I'm a firm believer that expectations do need to be closer to reality, and your expectations do really set your mood and everything going forward. And I've been asked this question a bunch of times in the last 2 weeks about, I guess I think Biff would like getting doused in Cheez-Its if they win. I think Biff would be all about that.
Biff seems
Sark,
to be all about
Sark
it.
maybe not as much. Sark does not seem like the fun-loving, pour food on me type of guy. But the question I have, Matt, is what are the expectations for Texas in the Citrus Bowl? Where are you happy with what ends up happening? Because I think we've talked about this, that the main thing you really want to deal with is you want to see the young players get in and play. You want to see this. But I've been asked, like, what if Texas loses? And you go, it really depends on how they lose. If Texas loses where they play their players and Michigan just comes out and they're a barn on fire and they're pissed off about everything else that's happening, and you just go, oh, okay, Texas just opted out too many guys on defense, and that offense for Michigan, Bryce Underwood lit it up, and they were just playing lights out. But I get it. It was kind of like our defense a little torn up. I wouldn't be super mad. I wouldn't be happy about it, but I wouldn't be super mad. But if we lose by 2 scores, then you're like, okay, now it's starting to be a little bit worse. And if the offense doesn't get going, where we don't know we have as many opt-outs on the offense right now. I'm still assuming we're going to have a couple on the offense, but we haven't heard as many. We're assuming now DeAndre Moore's probably out because he's declared for the draft. But when looking at this, you're like, if the offense doesn't work well, then I'll be more upset than if the defense isn't great. Because I know how many players we're losing on defense for this game. But the offense you want to see play a little bit better. So there's just those things in the game. So when I throw it to you and I throw it to you guys in the chat, what is it your expectations of where you would say this is a successful bowl game versus this was a catastrophe? And where's that line between success, catastrophe, and then greatest bowl game, the best thing that could have happened to us?
First of all, Roy, I think this is an excellent idea. BK, let's get this in the works. The Open Gym Citrus Bowl presented by Texas Sports Unfiltered. I love that idea.
There it is.
I think this is kind of a complicated question because I don't think that if Texas loses, it's a big deal. It's kind of like the NBA Cup to me, Patrick. Like if you win, it's great. If you lose, it doesn't really matter. I think what matters most in this game is getting some of these young players some run. A good performance from Arch Manning would be great. But, I think that like if you're Texas, you want to play Dalen McCutcheon a lot. You want to play Elijah Barnes a lot. You want to play Jonah Williams a lot. Xavier Filsaime, Cade Phillips, Kobe Black. I would play Michael Terry III a lot at running back. Get him to fill the CJ Baxter role and just see what you got. And I think you can still beat Michigan that way. It's just, here's the way that I think this would go well. And I think that Joe's kind of on the money here. You play the first half, and then if you're winning, great. You can continue to play to win the game if you want. But if you're like, we really want to get some of these young guys some real experience, let's just play them in the second half. It doesn't really matter. I think that would be okay too. I think at the end of the day, though, I think Sark really wants to win this game. And I think he wants to win this game not only to be the first Texas team to win 10 games 3 years in a row since, the 07 to 09 teams with Colt McCoy. but I think that he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder about this whole college football playoff thing. And I think he's going to want to go out and show it. Whereas I think Michigan's going to kind of be like, well, we lost our head coach. Our whole coaching staff's probably going to be gone. A bunch of guys are going to enter the portal. We don't even know if Bryce Underwood's going to be back next year. Let's just go and have fun and see what happens. And I think Texas really wants to win it.
I do too. And I think, I think there is something to be said about you have to play the game to win the game. And, Sark is such a culture guy and so into messages like that, this is the next generation of players. And a lot of these guys are going to be starting for you next season. You don't want their lasting memory to be over the offseason. Oh, we could have won, but we didn't try. We could have won, but you just don't want that to be in their mindset. You don't want to walk back in and have to deal with them on social media and with their friends. Oh, we would have won, but you don't want those buts. You just want to be able to take care of it. And now we don't know what Michigan's going to show up. Odds would say, and logic would tell you that Michigan is going to show up a frazzled, not necessarily disciplined, not necessarily really fully into it mentally as a team. That was what logic would tell you, that they've been through a lot, that these are the same guys who had to get dealt with being a cheater all season because the team 2 years before them cheated. And so they're still dealing with that. And a lot of these guys came in around that, didn't play part of that team, but were, still lumped in that they're cheaters, that Harbaugh was a cheating guy and everything else. And then go from that to then your coach does these things that to everyone else is a punchline and to you is your life. And so it's very easy to see them be completely out of it, but there's also a chance that somehow Biff is able to rally the troops and get guys to play at a level to go show what Michigan can be. And people will play for the school they came to, and people will play at that extra level. I know that's a smaller percentage chance, but it's a chance. And for Texas, you could deal with the same kind of two sides of it of, are you able to get your team pumped up when you were kept selling them the playoffs all year long, selling them the championships, selling them everything else, and then that you fall short of that? And are you able to get your team ready to go? And so the answer I've kind of given is it really has less to me to do with what Michigan is. And it has a lot more to do with what I see out of Texas in this bowl game. That I'm not overly concerned about what I see from Michigan. If Michigan just comes out and dominates and plays great, then I'd be like, wow, that's really surprising. But I think that's more in the line of I'd watch it and go, Texas, what are you doing? Like, I don't want to see PK play super conservative defense the entire game, but I feel like he's going to because they're going to have so many young guys.
But what would be the point of playing conservatively?
Because you're trying to not allow them to score 40 on you. And you're like, we're going to mess up some places because we have guys in the wrong spot. I finish. I'll let you finish. But
I was just going to say, if you really want to get these young players ready, for next season to play big time snaps next season, like Jonah Williams, Elijah Barnes, Lance Jackson, Phil Simi, Kobe Black, Cade Phillips, all those guys, I think you call the defense the same way you called it against A&M. And you're just like, hey, if you want to play in this system and you want to be a starter next year, you have to go do these things. So we're going to go find out if you can do these things. That's the way I would approach it. And if they make mistakes and there's bust in coverage or whatever, fine. But at least they're trying to play the system the way that is meant to be played.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you 100% on that. That you want to see them come in and be aggressive and go after it and not try and disguise their weaknesses, but attack with their strengths. And now you don't want to be, so over the top that you are playing your guys. You do want to be, if you're able to build a lead in the first half, you're able to play well. You want to be able to, not rest, but not risk injury. You'd like to be able to do that because we know there were a number of guys who were just because of the long season, because you had to play everybody so in depth to get to where you were at, and then playing Ohio State in that last game last year, you're a little bit more beat up. And so their spring practice was not what it needed to be because they were so beat up, still recovering from injuries, still recovering from things that kind of lasted all season. So with all that, I think that there lies a place of where you do want to be conscious of playing more young guys. You want to give guys a chance to shine. You want to, I think, again, in this bowl game, you want to see a lot of players play. You want to see guys that may enter the portal, who may be questioning what their role is on this team. You want to give them a chance to go out there and see, to know, should we really keep this guy? Or if he leaves, it's not that big of a deal. Like, that guy had 3 blown coverages. I'm not overly worried about if he hits the portal now. Like, we know what he is. This is what we kind of thought, but we haven't seen him in game action. In this game action, he just didn't look ready to play. So if he does leave, we don't want him to. We'd like to keep him. We have a package offered to him that we feel is worthwhile. But if he's going to go, say he's going to get more money elsewhere, God bless, go have fun. And we wish you the best of luck.
Another player that I think is going to be key in this game for Texas, and I think is going to get a ton of snaps, is Justice Terry.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm interested to see what they do with him. I mean, I feel like they're probably going to play him on the interior, but I would be interested to see if they play him at that jack position. Where Ethan Burke has been this entire time, and I think that you want to see Colton Vasek there as well, and see what you can get out of him, because I think that his future is certainly up in the air in terms of whether or not he's going to be back. But as of right now, Ethan Burke hasn't opted out yet that I know of. So maybe he ends up playing, gives it one more go, tries to put some good stuff on tape for the NFL and that kind of thing. But I'd be shocked if we didn't see a ton of Justice Terry.
I'm with you. And I think you would I'd love to see him at multiple positions as well. Mm-hmm. See where he plays well, see where he fits in with that line. I'm with you. I think that is like seeing Justice Terry and Colton Vasek on the field at the same time, how they play well together. And, I'm with you. There are some of those guys you'd like to see. I'd like to see in the running back room. I'm with Michael Terry. I'm with getting Clark some carries. I'm with getting James Simon some run as well. Some of those guys that you're trying to figure out where they're going to be on the depth chart next season. Where, I unless Trey Wisner says, guys, I really, really want to put some more stuff on tape. So I'm going to play, but I really want to put some stuff on tape. So get me at least 10 carries. I don't know if you get him 10 carries. You know what I mean? I think there's a point where you may play him early, and then you hopefully get him out of the game, let him at halftime, kind of chill and relax a little bit more in that second half, and let some of those other names come in and run the ball, because you want to be able to build up, because again, we don't know. We're not 100% Trey Wisner is coming back right now. I've heard some people leaning that way, and I've heard some people leaning that he is probably going to be either heading to the draft or transferring. I've heard all three from different people. So right now it does feel like you really got to lead your young running backs and young wide receivers a little bit more action in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's coming back personally, but we won't know that until probably after the new year, I would imagine. Certainly after the game. I mean, maybe he makes an announcement like Arch Manning did, and I think that they're probably operating as though he's going to be back in terms of what they're looking at in the transfer portal right now. But if I'm Texas, I give him 10 to 12 carries. I give Michael Terry 10 to 15 carries. And the other guys, like, if you get in, great. Like, I don't care if Christian Clark plays personally. I think we pretty much know what we have in Christian Clark. James Simon's a little bit more interesting to me, but you got to get Michael Terry some snaps in there to see. Like, he very well could be the most physical running back on this football team. So see what he's got, and just let him go. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but that kind of puts it to, the expectations. You just want to see your guys. You want to see, really, I think the biggest expectations is we want to see a solid first half. You want to see Texas come out, do what they need to do, play well for that entire first half, and then be able to have that room in the second half to do what you want to do. Now, if Texas comes out in that first half and it's 7-3 or 14-10 at halftime, does it change what you want to see in the second half at all? Or are you still sticking with, I don't care what the score is whatsoever, I just want to see some guys get in? Or are you sticking like, you need to stick those starters back in for in the third quarter and try and build some of this lead back up?
I'm kind of back and forth on it, honestly. I do think this win would be big for the program, but I almost feel like getting those guys experience is more important. I don't know. I can't really tell. I think that the best thing that could happen for Texas in this game is they go into halftime up 28-7.
Yeah.
And then they come out in the second half. They get to play KJ Lacey in the fourth quarter, Oh,
I agree. And like, there is also this point too of, we don't know. I would assume we're not doing a orange and white game this year, or a spring game this year, but we don't know. One of the main reasons we didn't do it last year is because of the playoffs. That was one of the big excuses, was we played so many games, so we can't do one. And I think that kind of also changes up a little bit of what you're playing, how much you're playing these young guys. Because if you do have an orange and white game and a scrimmage, even though it's still a scrimmage, you at least get to see your guys out there a little bit more, and you get to see them. And I know you're going to have scrimmages in practice. I know you're going to have all of those things, but I think it might change your viewpoint on, I really got to get Kalik Lockett in, 10, 15 snaps, or I got to get him 20 snaps. I got to get Dalen McCutcheon 25 snaps. I got to get French out there for 10 to 15 snaps. Like, that to me is the question of, are you trying to get those guys 10 to 15, 20, 25? Because now you're starting to eat into how many plays you're actually going to have in this game. How much you're going to have the ball, how much you're running clock, how much of you trying to speed up so you can get more plays called. And if you have the orange and white game, which I would assume they're not going to have again, because it just feels like that's a thing coaches don't want in general. But who knows? Who knows? Because they didn't reach the goals they wanted to. So that being said, I think that changes. If Sark's got it in his mind, we're bringing back the orange and white game, I think it changes his mindset in this game as well.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I tend to agree with you. In terms of the orange and white game, I feel like that's an important thing to have this year.
I feel like it would be good. The whole thing with Sark is, I don't think, and most of these coaches, I think their basic premise is, we don't mind scrimmaging. We don't want to do it in front of you. We don't want to do it in public. We don't want film of it. We don't want to do anything out there for anybody, but we have no problem scrimmaging. We'll scrimmage every day in practice if you'd let us, but I don't necessarily want to make a big to-do about it, where it's going to end up costing me NIL money. It's going to end up messing with our budget, because guys are going to catch 5 passes for 85 yards and all of a sudden want to boost.
Yeah. I think you have to have as many game opportunities as you can for, like, KJ Lacey and Diabell specifically. I think that would be really important for both of them.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think we've had the orange and white game the 2 years we went to the playoffs, and the 1 year we didn't. This year we didn't do it. So just on that alone, I think we can go ahead and say we should have it. But I am not the person behind the scenes making those decisions, so I don't get to say that. But I'll say that I do think that there's plenty of good reason to try and bring that back this season. But like, because again, I get, I've been pretty adamant that one of the things that I thought really hurt Texas this season was the we're playing 16 games attitude from day one.
Yeah.
That they walked in with their chest out a little too much for a team that had not done anything. That these young guys just had not been able to achieve really the success that the guys before them did. And so now you look at the orange and white game as an opportunity to say, well, in this bowl game, you can try and win the bowl game. First and foremost, try and win it. Try and get yourself a 10-win season. Try and show to everybody that you could win by 3 or 4 scores against Michigan. And look, it may not matter in the real scheme of things, but when we're having these discussions down the road, when we say strength of schedule has to matter, and when Sark is trying to sell whatever next season, hopefully selling whether we're the number 1 seed or the number 2 seed, hopefully selling that, not something else. But when he does have to sell those things in the future, that we can say, yeah, we weren't in and we blew it up. Remember Georgia and Florida State, and Georgia and Kirby Smart laid a message that people win. Georgia is Georgia. And you like the national narrative, you're trying to shift that Texas is not maybe not team, that Texas is a perennial playoff team. They are a team good enough to be a top 10, top 15 team every single season. You want to be in that conversation, and they're just not quite there yet. That's going to take them a couple more. 2 straight playoffs didn't quite get you there because you missed it third. I think if you got a third, it would be a little bit better. I get why you'd want to win this game. And if you add the orange and white game back, I feel like it, and you don't have to, but I feel like it gives you a little bit more leeway in we have to play our young guys in this game. We have to use this as practice for next year. We have to take advantage of everything because we were not ready by the start of SEC play. I'm not even saying Ohio State. We were not ready when we played Florida. And that's a problem. So how do you fix that? But moving the clock forward a little bit, which is playing a meaningful bowl game, trying to win it, but then bringing back that orange and white game.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can do both. I think that you need the practices and all that stuff for this bowl game, and you need to play the bowl game, and you need all the practices for spring football, and you need to play the orange and white game to be as ready as you can possibly be. I know it sounds kind of dumb that you need a football game in, what is it, March or April to get yourself ready for August.
Yeah.
But it keeps, not only does it keep everybody in that mode, but it still gives you a better idea of what these guys look like in a game, as opposed to, well, we watched them in practice for 15 practices and we guess they're ready. Like,
no, and I think the bowl game's even better because you play the orange and white game. You know the guys you're playing against. You know the schemes you're playing against. You know what's coming. And when you play Michigan on the 31st, you don't know what's coming after you. You don't know. Like, they're going to do different things. They're going to use different methods on you. It's all of that stuff is really big for guys who have only really seen high school and scrimmage, like in-game scrimmages and practice scrimmages. So I think that is a big piece for this bowl game, is you do want to give those guys a chance to feel that a little bit more. So I only bring up the orange and white game because I think it does let you focus more on a few younger guys, where the younger guys that you're like, these are going to play for us next year, focus more on them, but you don't necessarily have to get all of your young guys in. You don't necessarily have to go, we're trying to make sure our backups who are going to play next year, who are going to be a part of our team, I don't need them to get 20 snaps. But I need the guys who are going to play. I need Dalen McCutcheon to get 25, 30 snaps because he is going to be a part of the team next season. He's going to be a bigger part of the team with DeAndre Moore leaving. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
So now Khalid Glock and Jamie French, I would like to be a bigger part of the team. I'd like them to earn it a little bit more, but I don't know if they have yet. And I don't know what's in practice. I don't know where they're at. So that one to me is like, I'd like to see them, but if there's an orange and white game, I'd love to see them more there with another sprint, with another summer, with another year of working on everything, other than where we've some of these guys probably weren't getting the attention they needed during the season because you're trying to coach up your own guys. I mean, we're digging out of a hole for most of this season on a lot of positions. So for Texas, I think in this bowl game, there are some young guys I really want to see play, But to me, I'd still like to see his team be very competitive. And I think you have to dumb everything down a little bit more. Maybe dumb down is simplify, I say. Simplify things to make it less rude. Simplify things a little bit more when you put in more guys. We can't run the same motion when you have a bunch of young guys in. You can't audible defensively as much when you have the same guys in. Keep in mind, defensively, we don't even know who's having the green dot in this game.
Probably Brad Spence.
Probably
Anthony Smith.
Probably, but we don't know who's doing it because we would have all assumed it was Leon Lafau. So even that, when you talk about putting young guys in defensively and getting guys lined up and all of that, the more young guys you have in there, the more you can just get torched because there's nobody who's really played. So it's trying to find that fine line to where you're not teaching bad habits in the bowl game by just putting in a bunch of guys, getting penalties, and then what do they learn? Well, I keep using their names because they're good young players, but Cleek Lockett, we put him in, we used him on emotion, the ball got snapped too soon, and then he came off the field. So what did he learn? He learned that our drive stops when we get a 5-yard penalty before the snap. That's what he learned. He could learn that anywhere somewhere else. He doesn't need to learn that in the game. So that to me is why I'd like to see both things happen. I'd like to see an orange and white game come back to give us more of a open place to have a lot of young guys and see those guys in game action. But on the flip of that, I'm with you, Matt. I think you do have to see young guys play. If you're up 28-7 at half, me and you are texting each other thrilled at halftime because this is the way we wanted to see it. This is the chance. And then we'll be like, all right, how many snaps can we give these guys now? Now that we're feeling a little bit better, can we run the ball? Second half, if you're up 28-7, that's where you can go, let's see what Michael Terry can do. Let's see if we can lean on him in the second half. Where in the first half, maybe we didn't as much, but now we've got a good lead. We can run the clock a little bit more. We can put him in and just try and get good yardage. That's such a big point of what Texas is looking for is can they get that big lead early? I'm just trying to set that expectation because there's a pretty decent chance after a month off that it's a somewhat slow start for both teams. And so if it is a somewhat slow start for Texas and it is 14-7 or 14-10 at half, the whole talk of what we're saying of what would be great at 28-7 is now out the window. It's a 4-point game. And I think there's a little bit more pressure on Sark to say, okay, now we're starting to pick it up. We scored on that last drive, or, it's 17-10. We scored on the last 2 drives. I think we're starting to get it figured out. The rust is off now. Let's go see if we can put 2 more touchdowns in real quick. And then we can kind of open it up a little bit more versus let's get 1 drive in the second half and then pull everything out.
Well, the fortunate / unfortunate, I don't know which way it is. Truth of the matter is you don't really have a choice on defense.
Yeah.
Because so many guys are going to be gone. So it's just whatever you want to do on defense. I think that conversation is more relevant to the offensive side of the ball in terms of the skill position players, particularly Michael Terry and Khalil Lockett and Jamie French and those kind of guys. I'll tell you this, though. Well, first of all, I think one thing we need to figure out is Wink Martindale coaching the defense for Michigan?
I do not know.
I assume that he's probably going to finish it out. Maybe he's going to be a part of the staff next year. I don't know. But if they come out and they play the same kind of defense that they did against Texas last year, I haven't watched any Michigan this year. I need to dive into it. But if they come out and they do the same thing they did last year against Texas, where they just play cover 3 the whole game and try and win with 4 guys rushing, I think they're going to get picked apart.
Oh, I mean, I could believe that.
Because if you don't get exotic against Texas and try and confuse the interior of that offensive line and, do the stunts and the twists and bring guys, from the second level and do all those kinds of things, it's going to be really hard to get Arch off of his spot and make things difficult for him.
Yeah, I don't see anything. The only thing I see is Sharon Moore's press conference, so I think we can throw all of that information out the window.
Yeah, he apparently there's some more stuff coming about him today that does not look good.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Shockingly,
just keeps
it's
getting
not
worse.
getting
Man.
better. Look, and I get, Joe, what you're saying, but I also want to see Arch get more reps. I want Arch to play some of this game. Now, the big question is, Joe, can we NIL DJ Lagaway, or sorry, DJ Campbell to stay? Can we NIL Cole Hudson to stay for this game?
He has to play in this game, otherwise he has no shot at getting drafted.
He doesn't, though. That's the thing, is I agree he has no shot, but that doesn't mean he has to play. Like, that's the thing. These guys don't have to. They can walk away and say, I'm going to do my other prep and I'm doing whatever else. I do think that Texas, saying that we have not seen these guys being out yet, I could believe that there has been, guys, if you play in this game, there's a little extra money in it for you to come and play, for your name, image, and likeness to be used for advertising for this game or whatever else, so that you guys can play and protect Arch Manning. I don't want to put Arch Manning out there with an interior offensive line. Like, if Connor Robertson decides he walked, if he decides to walk out, and you go, we're playing three new, Connor Stroh's not there anymore. If we're playing three dudes who don't really play on the interior of that offensive line, then it becomes much scarier for leaving Arch Manning in there. And I'm with you on that. But if you're able to do that, my assumption is they're going to try and do it. It would make sense for DJ Campbell to get more stuff on tape. It definitely makes sense for Cole Hudson to get more stuff on tape. Same for Connor Robertson. All of them, it makes sense to get more stuff on tape. They played much better at the end of the season they did in the beginning. So it would make sense to try and leave the lasting image of them playing better. So I think it makes sense. But that is a big question of, if we start to get those opt-outs, it changes the opinion about how much you want Arch Manning back there, because you don't want it to be there. You don't want him to be able to get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. From what I understand, those guys are practicing.
No, that's what I'm saying. From everything I've heard, they're all there. So
yeah, so you're probably right. There's probably a little bit of an extra NIL bump in it for him to play. I don't think DJ Campbell really needed to. I think he's going to get drafted regardless, but I think he just wants to finish. You know.
No, and and DJ Campbell came back last year, and he could have gone. And I'll say this for DJ Campbell: I don't think he has to. He's getting get drafted because he is that type of athletic build. We know what he can do. He'll get picked. The thing is, if he finishes the season stronger, also showing that you're there and not opting out, I think does pay in some coaches, some GMs' minds. They appreciate that. Not all, but I think there are some who will look at that and say, this guy finished out. He's a true team player. We should get, this is a guy that we like as a character guy, that when you're taking him where they're not taking him to start day one anyway, that I think that does make a difference. So I get that, but that to me is a big piece. If it feels right now like they're trying to keep a lot of this offense ready to go for this. And so if they do that, then I want Arch to play as long as Arch can stay in there. Now, if we're up 35-7, it's okay. You can put in some other guys now. But I want Arch to go and get reps. I need him to be really, really good next season. So I'm for all the reps he can get.
I understand everybody's fear with Arch getting injured in this game. Bottom line is, if he does, you still have like 9 months to get him healthy. I guess 8 months to get him healthy, give or take. But at the end of the day, he needs this game just as much as any of the other young guys. He needs to get as many reps as he can possibly get against a good defense. Michigan is a good defense. They're top half of the Big Ten in just about everything.
Yeah.
So it'll be a good test for him, and it'll be another game that helps him get better as we go into the offseason. And I think he is going to play well.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And just real quick, I mean, I don't know what you mean by built on a paper foundation, Sooner Cowboys. But just because you make the playoff once under Brent Venables doesn't mean that you're not built on a paper foundation. I mean, let's be a little bit consistent. You were 6-6 last year. Was that what it was? 5-7, 6-6?
No, he's just trolling.
I get it.
Look, hey, enjoy your time.
Score a touchdown against Texas before you call them paper.
Matt, I just want to tell everybody, enjoy your time with Sooner Cowboys now, because he's going to run away like he did when Texas beat him and didn't show back up for like 3 months. What, 2 months? It took him that he disappeared after Texas whooped Oklahoma. He disappeared for 2 months. He's going to be gone after he talks all this trash and they get killed by Alabama because they don't have an offense.
Yeah, I hope we use John Mateer for the meathead of the day, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we may. John Mateer he's just not been there. Tomorrow, I think we're going to rank the quarterbacks in the draft class, and I was ranking the quarterbacks in the draft class, in the playoffs, sorry, not the draft class, the playoffs, and I was ranking them. John Mateer just kept sliding, Matt. Just kept sliding down that list.
Wait, we're talking about the quarterbacks in the NFL draft or the SEC?
No, the playoffs. In the quarterbacks, the 12 quarterbacks in the playoffs right now.
Oh, I'd love to rank that.
So we'll rank that tomorrow. We'll rank
my
the
rankings ready.
Yes, we'll do that tomorrow. But yeah, good stuff there about expectations. I did get to throw in a little bit to try and sway some minds. Maybe we can orange and white game back. I appreciate everything they did this year. It was fun. But I think the reason that we all accepted we didn't play the orange and white game was because we just played in 2 playoffs. Not an excuse anymore. Did not play. So I think bringing back something would be better than that. Would be better than nothing. All right. Let's go ahead and take our first break and come back. I want to get into the Texas versus Lemoyne, that game last night, what we saw in that game. We also want to get into our NFL power rankings, update those, Matt, talk a little bit more NFL. Maybe we'll get into the current MVP race. I think it's a 3-horse race right now. So we may get into that a little bit more and what those players need to do to get to there as we continue on here on Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
At Sleep Cycle Center, we can treat your sleep apnea in various ways. My story starts 15 years ago with the loss of my father to undiagnosed untreated sleep apnea. And this is a very preventable disease, and treatment options are various. Millions of people across America have sleep apnea, and they fail to realize the early warning signs. Fatigue, daytime sleepiness, and snoring are the most common signs. We'll find the best solution using advanced technology, oral and epigenetic appliances, or CPAP. We offer weight loss, oral surgery, and laser treatments. Schedule your appointment today and get your sleep evaluation.
If you're looking to remodel a kitchen, renovate your bathroom, or maybe add some new life to your outdoor space, reach out to our friends at McCall Custom Homes. They are custom home builders and renovators here in Central Texas, and they've been doing it in Central Texas for more than 40 years. It's a father-son team with a ton of experience, and all of that experience is here in the Austin area. So they know what it takes to turn an Austin area home into something truly, truly special. Right now, our friends at McCall Custom Homes are offering free estimates to TSU listeners so they can come out to your place, hear your vision, they can tell you what they can do, and then you can go from there. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their website, McCallCustomHomesATX.com. Look at the gallery of jobs they've done over the last 4 decades. And then when you're ready, again, reach out to them and they will come to you. McCallCustomHomesATX.com, or you can call or text Mike McCall directly at 512-633-9580. It's McCall Custom Homes. We build value into your home.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations, and all of us at Audiovisual would like to wish you and your family a happy holiday season. This time of year can get a little hectic, so we want to remind you to relax, enjoy the season with your family and friends, and give us a call at 512-255-8678 for all of your home entertainment needs. This is my favorite time of the year. I love the holidays, the music, the decorations, the presents, the whole darn thing. So this year I'm asking all you listeners to help make this a special holiday for everyone. Smiles are contagious and free, so let's give them away like the government gives away away your money. Let's high-five strangers on the street. Hold the door for people behind us. Tip your servers more than they've ever been tipped before. Give to a charity, or hell, give to a bunch of charities. If someone does a good job, tell them they did a good job. Pat someone on the butt. Sing in public places just because it feels good. And as always, hug your kids until they beg you to stop. Watch some games with your friends and make love to your wife or your husband. I know there's some women listening too. You can still give us a call at 512-255-8678 if you'd like to get some cool electronics. But more importantly, have a great holiday season and a fucking awesome next year.
Welcome back in to Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. And of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. Text line's open 512-222-9328. And of course, over there on the chat, Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube. Appreciate you being here with us during the holiday season. I know stuff is getting stressful and busy and time is of value. So we appreciate you hanging out with us here on the show. Shout out to Chan on the text line. Says we definitely need to play the young guns in this bowl game. I agree. We all agree we got to play them. It's about how much we got to play them versus how much we're trying to win the game in the middle. But I think, Matt, you nailed it right on the head. Defensively, how much of a choice is there?
Zero.
Not much of a choice on the defensive end of the ball. So, that's kind of how big the rotation is. Is it a really tight rotation of young guys, or do they open it up a little bit more on there? But yeah, definitely a lot of names already opting out of this bowl game, or reportedly opting out of the bowl game for the Texas defense. I expect to see more names before we get there, because there always are. We haven't really heard too much about Michigan yet either. Not surprisingly, it feels like Michigan beat reporters are busy with something else. I don't know what else they'd be busy with right now, but maybe not fully tracking the opt-outs, going for the bigger news story.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume we're going to have some more opt-outs coming.
Yeah, I mean, it happens every year. It is what it is.
Yeah. You know what I'm really interested to find out, Patrick, is whether or not Ethan Burke opts out.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume he would, but
yeah, I don't know. Like, I haven't seen whether or not he's practicing. I haven't seen, like, he wasn't on Chip's list of players that he had reported had opted out that I'm aware of. I don't know. I also wonder when we're going to find out about this Hero Canoe news. That's one that I'm really interested in, because if he elects to come back and he plays in this game, and same with Jelani McDonald.
Yeah, that
would be huge. If you have Jelani McDonald back there in this game, that would be massive.
Oh, I'm with you. I think Jelani McDonald, Hero Canoe are two of the big ones. We all know Colin Simmons, we're not even going to talk about Colin Simmons not being there. So we'll continue to believe in that one. But yeah, those are probably the two biggest names that there's still question marks about. I know there's still question marks about a couple of other names, but they feel a little bit more decided than anything else. Last night, Matt, Texas did get a 41-point win over the Lemoyne Dolphins. They took care of business really in the second half more than the first half. This was a matchup that we saw after the first half. We're like, oh yeah, Sean Miller is going to get pissed off at this team. They were up 41-30. So you're still up by 11, but it wasn't the half you wanted to see in the first half. The offense wasn't really working that well, and the defense would just disappear at times. They were also still fouling too much. All the things that Sean Miller keeps getting mad about this team doing, all of them kind of happened at the same time. And they come out with an 11-point lead because they're a much more talented team than the Lemoyne Dolphins are. But we see them come out in the second half and start to figure it out a bit more. And they go 54-23 in the second half to really pull that lead out, play good defense throughout, and make it a game that they're able to be proud about. They hold them to 28% shooting from the field. They hold Lemoyne to 11% from the three-point line as well. They shot too many free throws, 23 free throws shot for both teams. So you still have to work on the personal fouls. Voigtitis had 3. Jordan Pope had 3 personal fouls. Simeon Wilcher with 4. He's been playing well, but he just continues to make some just boneheaded plays. And That to me that's where we get the problem. For Chan, Jordan Pope had 4 assists, so we got close to that 5 for you, Chan. But I told you probably be under there. That's just not how that offense really runs a ton. So, it's just not how that offense runs. And so he's passing the ball off to somebody else pretty immediately, as opposed to a guy who's ball in hand and trying to drive and then find somebody. It's not quite how this offense runs. Tremont Mark led the way with 18 points. Sean Miller talked about it after the game and brought up how he feels that he's starting to figure out Tremont Mark, and Tremont Mark starting to figure out this offense, as he had missed a little bit of time over the offseason, rehabbing some injuries, so he wasn't 100%. So they're still trying to figure each other out. It feels like Tremont Mark's starting to be a little bit more comfortable in this Texas offense, which is a really good sign, because the way he was playing early in the season, you were like, I don't know if like this dude, he's not playing defense the way he needs to. He's not playing offense. We start to get that out of him. That makes you feel a little bit better. Dalen Swain is still just that first half. Dalen Swain, completely unacceptable play. He just did not look ready for it. He gets big-eyed at times for Dalen Swain, where he's like, what's going wrong? And you're like, just focus and play. So we didn't, we saw that a little bit better in the second half. It does feel like the power forward position is still just kind of a real crapshoot at this time. They played Declan Rue plays okay. I would assume he would get a little bit more playing time, but I don't know why he's not. You figure it's something in practice. Maybe it's turnovers. Maybe it's shot selection. I don't know. He does feel like he wants to take it a little bit more, which is sometimes with the guy when you're 5th on the lineup, when you're out there, you don't want a guy who's going to take it to the rim as much as he does. But Nick Cody only plays 6 minutes in the game. Lucina Traore plays 19, plays decent defense, gets 11 rebounds. So he's kind of he's more of your defensive 4. Cam Heidi's your offensive 4 right now, but it just feels like you're going to have to play that by matchup a little bit more. And then Jordan Pope plays 22 minutes again, 3 of 10 shooting. He's one of the only guys on this team who's really creating his own shot when the offense completely just slows down and they're just passing and everybody's moving and everybody's passing, but no one's setting picks. No one's really doing anything to get an advantage. They're all just dribbling around hoping that the defense messes up somewhere. But they're not making them do switches. They're not making them really do. So the offense isn't that complicated. And they're just kind of dribbling and passing between each other. Jordan Pope has been better at creating a shot. He's just not hitting them at the level you need him to hit him at, to where you feel confident with him doing that. So, I think you want Simeon Wilcher to get there. But he, again, just has to be smarter. He just has to not have stupid fouls, not have silly turnovers. He had 2 turnovers in the game. You just got to be a little bit smarter about all of those things that he's doing. And it feels like he's going to continue to take time away from Jordan Pope. Kendall Weaver has not figured out this Sean Miller offense whatsoever. He just does not fit into it whatsoever. Like, it's one of those things where I know some people are taking shots at Kendall Weaver. I will still stand on good coaches can make players. Can you figure out how to use a player better than that? I think Sean Miller is still, and he even said at the end of the game, he's still trying to figure out this team. And it's not great how long it's taking, but if you don't find a way to make Cam Heide a better player than he is, and you don't find a way to use Kendall Weaver, we're never going to have the abundance of talent he would need to win if he cannot make guys like that work at Texas. He will never get us close to a championship if he can't figure that out. Like, you have to, at a school like Texas, figure out how to use those guys better. So hopefully Tremont Mark is the first piece of that, where he's figuring out how to use Tremont Mark a little bit better, using him in ways that, maybe not everybody nowadays would love, taking some more mid-range jumpers, getting him into where he feels comfortable. I like all of that stuff that we're seeing from it. It was good to see the second half, not fun to watch the first half. There's positives in there, but yeah, this team's just still got a long way to go. That I'm really curious to see what team we have come March. because hopefully a lot more of these players have figured it out, and Sean Miller has figured out how to use them by that time.
Yeah, you would hope so. And I like you're 12 games in with an entirely new team. It's going to take time to figure these things out, but that's not really an excuse. Like you had pretty much the whole off season to try and figure out a way to work Kendall Weaver into your system and to work Cam Heidi into your system, and it hasn't really. Like I feel like it's been more successful with Heidi just because he's been playing more, but he still hasn't played particularly well. Kendall Weaver just feels like he's out there on the court. He's not really doing much. Like he played 18 minutes. He took 4 shots. He was 0-4. He had 2 points.
Yeah.
Got a couple rebounds. Like that's about it. I think the thing that I'm most encouraged by though, and I get that it's Lemoyne and they're terrible. And, you know, by the way, shout out to Tennessee Rainwater. 14 minutes, 0 points.
For Tennessee.
But the thing that's encouraging to me is he had 6 guys in double figures and another guy with 8.
Yeah.
So like you had a lot of different guys scoring. I was encouraged by Tremone Mark as well. It kind of feels like he's getting it. And I'm glad that Sean Miller talked about that because that kind of seems like it's happening because he did it against UConn too. It wasn't just because he was playing Lemoyne. He played well against UConn as well. So if he can be the player that he was last year, maybe a little bit more distributive than he was last year, but like the effective offensive player that he was last year, I think that Texas is going to have a much better shot to compete against some good teams.
Yeah, I'm with you. It feels like they're getting better. I'll say right now, Joe, and for Chan, who says we're running out of time, for Joe, who says we got to go 9-9. Again, I think we're going to not be very good in SEC play. I just don't see it yet. There's no consistency in this team. There's no focus in this team yet. It just feels like Sean Miller started prepping this team way too late. And I don't know if that's when he was hired, when guys were coming in. I don't know what it is. It just feels like Sean Miller thought he was going to have a different team when he walked in. And he has been kind of like, I don't know why that is, but it like the day one Texas team that we saw against Duke and what we saw there, it's not like they're not remotely the same team right now. And they're transitioning into starting to figure out, but like it felt like he was just trying to. And look, I don't care. Play Duke first. It didn't really matter who you play first. It's basketball.
Played 7 other tomato cans.
Yeah, you played. Yeah, we have enough tomato cans, and I get you can move it around. You played in a big marquee game to put Texas out there. That's a good thing to do.
And you were winning at halftime.
Yeah, there's positives to it, but it just doesn't feel like this team really has the answers to go against some of these better teams in the SEC. Maybe they'll continue to improve. Maybe we'll start to see Tremone Mark be more consistent. Maybe Jordan Pope will figure it out. Maybe Wilcher will start to take that next step. And by the halfway point of the SEC play, we'll be a game or two below 500 and be able to even the right the ship by the second half. I just don't have a ton of confidence in this team right now. It just feels like we're way behind the 8 ball on it. I think Sean Miller is a good coach, but it does not feel like Sean Miller is the type of coach who's going to walk in and change your program in a year. I'll say that. And that's hard. There's not a ton of those. So I'm giving him. I've already kind of written this year off, and anything that happens now is a positive. But I've somewhat already written this year off because it doesn't feel like anything is really going great Texas way. They have some games where they play really well. You're going to see games where they play really, really well throughout the SEC, and then you're going to see some games where they don't even show up for them. And so we just have to kind of even that out as we go through this season, and then looking forward to next year.
I think it's pretty clear, Patrick, and I'm really I'm really sorry that I have to say this, but I think it's pretty clear that you are to Texas basketball what I am to Ole Miss football.
What?
You're just a perennial negativity guy.
I thought we were doing good when we had Rodney Terry. I was positive on Rodney Terry.
Oh, I remember those conversations over the spring.
I was positive on him, but
I think they'll be fine. I do.
I think they'll be fine too. When I say wrote this season off, I just mean we're not at best we make the tournament. We're not winning a game in the tournament. Like we're a best of bubble team. I just there's not enough. This team was very poorly constructed for what Sean Miller wants to do.
Yeah, that's fair.
We don't have the 3-point shooting. We don't have anyone who can score at will. We don't have anybody we can get the ball to that we feel good about in a one-on-one game. You have Voikatitis, who's getting better, that you can throw it in the post. We don't have that perimeter player. Defensively, they're so hit or miss. So, like, again, and I'll say, I'm going to watch at least 5 or 6 games this year where I'm going to feel like, oh, we're completely getting hosed by the refs. And it just is what it is, but they're calling a lot of fouls on Texas. I don't think that's going to stop. And so all those put together, I think that Texas has plenty of chance to be much better next season. I'm hoping that this will open some eyes to we're going to have to spend a little bit more money and go get some of those players in the portal to compete like that. But outside of that, the SEC is a really, really good basketball conference. That's why if we were in the Big 12, I think we could win more games because you're not so top. Like, it's not so many teams that are really great teams. It was just very even. And in the SEC, there's going to be a lot of games where you're just thoroughly outmatched. So that's kind of the worry is, all right, well, if you can't win those games and you're just trying to have to win out, I'll say there's probably 2 or 3 teams that we're not going to be able to beat. So then you say you got to go 500 in the rest of those, but that's still not 500 in conference play. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Gotcha. It could change. They've gotten much better. I will say they've gotten much better than even Hawaii. They've gotten much better than that. So I think they will continue to improve. I get it. And 1-4 against Power 5 teams. I have to see it against real teams. They've showed up against NC State for 40 minutes, and that's the one team. Outside of that, they've had some really bad appearances. UConn, I thought they played okay. Just UConn's a better team. So I get you, man. I don't think I'm negativity all around. I thought that we have had teams that could go Sweet 16 before. But it's going to be a tough road this year just because of the roster. It just doesn't feel like it's there where it needs to be. Hopefully they'll play well enough. They can enhance the people. Modest Voikatitis can come back. He's going to be better next season. So a lot of positives to look at. But we'll just go with that. All right. Matt, let's get to our NFL power rankings here. It's time to update these power rankings as we do every week here on the show. Here is our power rankings from last week. And we start to look at this that I know your Rams play again tomorrow. Your favorite team in NFL history, the Los Angeles Rams. Real LA Matt. We call him Hollywood now because he's such a LA guy. for loving Matt Stafford. They did get a big win over the Lions last week, 41-34. Really putting the Lions in a weird place at 8-6 that they did not expect to be. The Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen continuing his pace with a 35-31 win over the Patriots, who are number 4 team. Seattle going to be playing in that Thursday night game against the Rams. It's a really good Thursday night game. Matt, are you actually going to watch Thursday Night Football this week?
Maybe.
You got to try out that Prime Vision, man. Got to try out that Prime Vision.
I did that with the Cowboys in their last Thursday night game. It was cool.
It's fun to watch. Seahawks beat the Colts 18-16. And the Broncos got that 34-26 win over the Packers. So the only team who lost in your tier 1, Matt, is the Patriots, who lost to your number 2 team. So the 4 team lost to the 2 team. Outside of that, when we go into tier 2, the Bears take care of the Browns 31-3. The Bears with Ben Johnson. Maybe the Cowboys should have called Ben Johnson. I like Shoddy, but maybe they should have called Ben Johnson. I don't know if you.
I don't think it would have made a difference.
The 49ers beat the Titans 37-24. The Packers, of course, lost that game to the Broncos. The Lions lost their game to the Rams. Chargers played on Their game beat the Chiefs 16-13. Chiefs 6-8. I know Matt's really sad about that one as well. Eagles
Devastated.
get right against the Raiders 31-0. Houston Texans, of course, another huge win for the Houston Texans because that's all they do is win, 40-20 over the Cardinals. And the Jags got to win too. The Jags get a win 48-20 over the Jets. So that is your tier 1 and tier 2 teams, Matt. How much are we moving anything this week? Do the Patriots need to get punished? Does anyone in tier 2 jump up to tier 1 this week?
I think you just flip the Broncos and the Patriots.
Okay.
I think that's it.
I think that's a fair assessment on those two. For your tier 1, so it's not messing up stuff too much. It's literally up and down 1 there. So it's still 1 through 5. Any of your tier 2 teams, Matt, any of the tier 2 teams you think should jump up to tier 1?
I don't think so. I like what the Bears are doing, but I don't think they're an actual contender.
Okay. I like that. So the Bears stay at 6. The 49ers get a win. Probably stay at 7. Do the Chargers, the Eagles, or the Texans jump over either the Packers, the Lions, who both lost, or the Jags, I could say as well. The Jags had a big win. Do any of them start to jump up? Do the Lions or Packers move down? Also, the injury to Micah Parsons may judge what you think about the power of the Packers right now. Who do you put at number 8? And where do you kind of move those teams that lost this week in tier 2?
I think you just move the 2 teams that lost to the bottom of the tier.
So you move the Packers and Lions from 8 and 9 down to 12 and 13.
Yeah. The Packers might even be 13 because of the Parsons injury.
What is their record?
I want to say like 10-4-1.
9-4-1, right?
9-4-1.
So yeah, I with the Parsons injury, I was just making sure they weren't too far away from what the Lions are. But I'm with that. All right.
Well, they're 2 games ahead of the Lions, so we should probably leave them there.
They're only a game ahead, right? Game and a half.
Well, they also beat them twice, so.
All right. So Packers ahead of the Lions then. All right.
Yeah.
Making me do more work over here. Trying to get me tripped up. All right. So that then puts the Chargers, who deserve to move up. They've maybe been a little low in our rankings. At 8, 9, the Texans all the way up to top 10 now. Jags are at 11 in your tier 2. Tier 3, Matt. Tier 3, not a great week for tier 3. With the Buccaneers losing to the Falcons on Thursday Night Football, the Cowboys losing to the Vikings, and the Colts losing to the Seahawks. The tier 3, all 3 losses. If we look at tier 4, the Panthers should have caught back up. They feel they got hosed on some calls, but they end up losing to the Saints, so they take a loss. The Steelers actually do get a win. Steelers get a big win moving forward as they beat the Dolphins on Monday Night Football. The Ravens, 24-0 win over the Bengals, really shutting down, depressing our boy Joe Burrow even more. Poor Joe Burrow. Dating supermodels, buying Batmobiles, but things aren't going perfect for Joe Burrow. And the Dolphins, of course, lost on Monday Night Football in tier 4. Does anybody move up into tier 3? Does the tier 3 move around? Does tier 4 move around? The Steelers and Ravens both with wins out of those next 7 teams. What do you like to see there?
I feel like you have to put the Steelers in. Are the Ravens eliminated yet?
I don't think so because they're in that division, right? They're in the bad division.
No, they're not eliminated.
They still play the Packers again, and they're only a game back from the Packers. And they still play them, or the Steelers, sorry, and they play them again.
Yeah. I say you move the Steelers to 14, the Ravens to 15, then the Bucks, the Colts, the Panthers, the Cowboys, and the Dolphins. Then the Bucks, the Colts, and the Cowboys, and then you cut it at 19.
In tier 3?
No. Like so the tier 3 is Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Tampa Bay.
Okay. And then we go. I put the Colts above Tampa Bay at this point. And I know they're playing with Phillip Rivers, but I still they're still just a better team. Tampa Bay's been so bad lately.
We can do that if you want. I'm not going to argue with you about it. I do think that the Bucks are tier 3 though.
You think they're tier 3? I don't think they are.
You don't think so?
They're 7-7 now. They have lost 5 out of the last 6 games.
Yeah. Okay. Drop them to tier 4.
Like it's been bad lately. And
Yeah,
it's
right.
injuries. I'll give you it's injuries, but if we're penalizing Packers for Parsons, you have to go like you guys have been not playing good football whatsoever. So that
they are the first team in tier 4 though.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. So that puts tier 3 ends up being the Steelers, Ravens, and Colts. And tier 4 starts with the Bucks at 17. And then do we go Cowboys at 18 there? Panthers at 18, who just lost to the Saints.
I think it's still the Panthers.
Because they're still playing for a division?
Yeah. And they have a better record.
So then the Cowboys at 19. The Dolphins, do they slide back into tier 5 there?
Well, so here's the thing. I think you cut the Dolphins out and everything else basically stays the same because all of those teams are eliminated.
Okay, well, does Minnie move up for beating the Cowboys?
No, they're eliminated from the playoffs.
But they can move up in tier 5.
Okay. Yeah, they move above the Chiefs, I guess.
Say they move above the Chiefs, put them at 21, Chiefs at 22. And then I say we move the Bengals down again to tier 6.
Yeah.
They just got shut out by the Ravens.
Yeah.
The Burrow comeback was not what it wanted to be.
Sure was wrong about that one in our picks.
So Bengals drop down to tier 6. We can move around anybody in that tier 6 if you want. No one's necessarily playing. I mean, the Saints could move up again. The Saints are not playing terrible football. They're really the only team who's not playing terrible football right now. I know the Falcons also won in a Thursday night game.
Yeah, I think the Falcons are 24. The Saints are 25. And then everything else stays chalk after that.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. There's an updated power rankings for you as we move it around. The Jets just living down there at the bottom. Man, they're bad at football. Raiders bad at football. Titans bad at football.
Hey, shout out to Gunnar Helm though, setting the record for touchdown catches by a rookie tight end, breaking Bo Scafe's record.
Hey, yeah, Joe, you got it, man. Cowboys 1% chance of making the playoffs. It's there, man. Just got to win out.
8-1, baby. 8-1.
It's the way to go. By the way, South Florida up 10-7 over Old Dominion right now in the Staff DNA Cure Bowl. Do you think they got the cure to play at halftime?
I hope so. That would be awesome.
Just playing this afternoon's bowl game on a Wednesday afternoon. Like, guys, I thought this was going to be like a bigger deal. Nope, not a big deal at all. Matt, we also, we found out today, Matt, that Quinn Ewers is named the starter for the Miami Dolphins. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. But we now know that the Miami Dolphins have moved on from now. Do you feel this is a official move on from Tua completely, or is this a let's go see what we have for 3 games and we just don't want you to get hurt and let's get out of this season and we'll kind of reconvene? I'll say I don't see any chance that Mike McDaniel and Tua come back, but I think there's a pretty good chance one of them does.
Mike McDaniel's going to come back. I think Tua's gone. I think it's going to be exactly what we talked about yesterday. They're going to try and get some draft capital for him.
But that's the thing is, like, we look at the quarterbacks now available, and you have Kyler Murray and Tua, which kind of cancel each other out in draft value too, because any team that wants him is going to call both and go like, look, we just need somebody. Both your guys have major flaws. I mean, now I wouldn't even call for Tua unless I played indoors.
Falcons, baby.
The Falcons. Oh, man. Good Lord. Don't do that to Bijan, man. We got to get Bijan a real quarterback over there.
Well, you got to trade Bijan to the Cowboys.
Oh, okay. Trade him to the Cowboys. You know what? We
or
can
the
take
Texans.
Yeah, Texans. We'll take him on the Texans. Yep. They can have Joe Mixon.
There you go.
I like Joe Mixon, but he has not played this season, so it's kind of disappointing. Yeah, but I think it's interesting. But it's a big difference from what we kind of thought was going to happen when Quinn Ewers came in. But it says a lot about the young man that he was able to go into a situation where he was brought in as a QB3, didn't know if he was even going to be on the roster really. It was going to be practice squad probably for a lot of these games, with Zach Wilson being the backup. And within months has put himself now to above Zach Wilson, to where they actually want to see if he could be somebody in the future. Now, it's not exactly an easy path to walk into for Quinn Ewers, because he's still playing on a on a not great team. He's got his growing problems that he's going to have. The Miami Dolphins' remaining 3 games are the Bengals, who do not have a very good defense, at home, the Buccaneers, who are beatable right now, and then at the Patriots. So he needs to show up in 2 of these 3 games, because I can tell you that third one is going to be rough. Playing at New England in the snow, most likely in January, against a team. Now, maybe they'll be resting players. Maybe they'll be so locked in at that point with their record, they'll be resting players. That would be your biggest hope if you're Miami and Quinn Ewers. But what are your kind of expectations for Quinn Ewers in his next 3 games, Matt?
Well, I'm not going to say that I sit here and have high expectations for him, because it's not a very good football team, but the schedule isn't terrible. The Bengals this week are going to be a great, early starter for him, where he's he doesn't have to, go up against a dominant defense. The Bucks, got lit up by the Falcons recently, even though they won even though that Bijan is kind of locked in a box there. He still had a decent game, but the Bucks defense isn't fantastic. And the Patriots, they could very well be locked into a playoff spot at that point, and they could be all right, we're just going to rest Drake May. We're just going to do that. We'll rest some of these guys and get ready for the playoffs, like a lot of teams do in the final week of the season. So it sets up pretty well for him, I think. And, in terms of the Patriots defensively, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've watched a ton of Patriots football, but they haven't given up a ton of points this year. The most they gave up was against the Dolphins earlier this year. They gave up 27. And then they gave up 31 or 35 to the Bills this past weekend. But the other games, they played pretty well defensively. The thing about Quinn is and I think Mike McDaniel said this in his press conference today. He's got a calm demeanor. He's got a quiet swagger. The players love him. He's got insane arm talent. And I believe all those things to be true. And it's a system in which he is very familiar not just from being in it all year this year with the Dolphins, but also because it's really similar to what the Longhorns do and what he's been doing with Steve Sarkisian for the past 3 years. So I think he's going to be able to come in and do pretty much everything. I don't think he's going to be hamstrung by, it's just a rookie playing, but it's everything sets up really nicely for him. So I think he's going to play well, and there'll be some points where you're like, Quinn, what are you doing? Or like, he didn't see that guy coming off the edge or whatever. And his pocket presence wasn't amazing like it hasn't been in years past. But I think he'll be able to do anything they ask him to do. And I wouldn't be surprised if he shocks some people.
No, I'm hoping for it. I think it'd be a lot of fun to watch him come out. We know the other quarterback who dropped was Shedeur Sanders, and he had been getting some, he wasn't playing great football, but he also wasn't playing terrible football. And people were saying, well, maybe with time he'll be a little bit better of a player and maybe he can still learn. And, he's got there. And then he went 18 for 35 for 3 interceptions against the Bears this last weekend. And now everyone's freaking out again because clearly he's being sabotaged by Stefanski because there's not a chance that it's just him not being as good of a quarterback. But he did not have the game that a lot of people wanted him to have.
I'm shocked.
Also, it doesn't help that they ran the ball. Quinshon Judkins had 12 carries for 21 yards. Not really what you want to see from an offense. So I mean, there's more pieces to it, but yeah, when you're playing against these teams, I think the big piece for Quinn Ewers in these next couple of weeks is going to be, can he, as a leader, keep a eliminated team with a backup quarterback interested in playing as hard as they can? So it's more a test of Quinn Ewers' leadership at this point to see if he can really get this team fully invested in these last 3 weeks, because there is going to be drop off. These are guys making millions of dollars, and sometimes they're already planning their vacations. They know they're eliminated. They're, until they lost on Monday, there was probably still a glimmer of hope in there. We saw Tyreek Hill already post a meme, and we're like, Tyreek, you need to be gone anyway. You've been a problem. You haven't been a solution. You've been a problem. Go back to Kansas City. They need some help right now. I'm sure it'll work out perfect. But Miami's going to be trying to move some crazy pieces of sauce. Miami's general manager is going to get blocked on some of these GM's phones.
Probably.
So you call me on Monday saying you want a 3rd for Tua. You call me on Tuesday asking me for a 4th for Tyreek Hill. What is wrong with you? I'm not giving you none of that. How about this? You give me a 3rd and I'll take on Tua's contract. How about we do that? I think they're going to try and get draft capital for him. I think they may have to give up draft capital if they want to get out of that contract.
I've seen some rumors on some early places where he might land.
Yeah.
I think the Falcons were on there. Let me see if I can find it again real quick. Top landing spots according to Hard Rock Bet. Vikings number 1, Jets number 2, Raiders number 3, Steelers number 4, Publix number 5. I don't know why Publix is on there. I think that the Falcons will be a player for him as well. Like, somebody has to have a need, and the Colts are another one. Like, we don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be back next year, like ready to play, because that injury is really serious. So, what are you willing to give up for a 1-year quarterback?
Yeah.
And I think it'll probably be like a 5th or a 6th round pick.
I mean, that's the question, because you also got Kyler Murray, and that's in that same discussion right now of a quarterback that has talent, but there's extra baggage and a contract that no one really wants to pay.
Yeah.
So we will see what happens.
Can the Falcons even afford to bring Tua on cap-wise?
It depends if they get out of that. I think they're going to be out of that Kirk Cousins contract then. I mean, how long do they sign him for?
Let me see.
Because if you get out of Kirk Cousins, it becomes much easier.
Oh, for sure. He is due to be a unrestricted free agent in 2028.
All right. Well, we'll see how much they're paying him still. I'll look at the contract here in the break. We're going to take our second break real quick. We'll come back, wrap up the show, get to our meathead. You know what? I'll talk a little Spurs.
Well, you're right, actually. Sorry. They can get out after this season.
Yeah, I figured you weren't signed to a 4-year deal. It's a long deal for Kirk Cousins. But we'll get into all of that when we come back here, and whatever else you guys want to talk about, as always, here on Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Hi, I'm Hayden Covert. Welcome to Covert Buick GMC of Bee Cave, your home in the Hill Country for new and pre-owned Buick and GMC vehicles. With beautiful inventory arriving daily, including the GMC Yukon, Sierra 1500, and Buick Enclave, you'll be certain to find the perfect vehicle at an incredible deal. Our service department is also open for all your vehicle maintenance needs. Visit us today for a test drive. Covert, born and raised in Austin. We are professional grade.
Altstadt Beer, the best beer that you can find all throughout the great state of Texas. Y'all know I've been a fan of Altstadt for years now, and if you try it, I think you will be too. If you've already tried it, you know exactly what I am talking about. Altstadt is brewed locally in Fredericksburg, but available all over the state of Texas. So if you're tuned in Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, it does not matter. You can find Altstadt at a local grocery store or liquor store. They've got a bunch of different brews, something for every beer drinker out there. The lager, the Kolsch, those are their two flagship beers, both award winners. They are fantastic. The Altstadt Light sacrifices on calories but does not sacrifice on the taste. They've got a great pills, tons of great seasonals as well. I'm telling you, one sip and you won't go back to the other beers you've been drinking in the past. It is the official beer of BK. It should be the official beer of you as well. It's Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
Hey y'all, I'm Camille McKay.
And I'm Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations.
The old man and I are here to give you your summer weather forecast. It's hot.
That's right, kid.
Which means it's time for pool parties, grilling burgers, and taking a beach vacation, right?
Well, I don't know about a vacation, but Audiovisual brings more heat than any tropical destination.
It was worth a shot. I'll settle for some outdoor speakers.
You know, Audiovisual can do a lot more than that. We provide outdoor video screens, audio systems, landscape lighting, even solar shades for your patio to keep the Texas heat at bay.
Well, I'm sold. Let's wrap this up. I'm ready to lounge on a floaty and listen to some smooth jazz.
Well, that sounds wonderful, but some smooth reggae is the way to go this summer.
Good thing we can listen to both with the Sonos sound system. I call dibs on the floaty, though. Peace out.
Kid, wait a second. Give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit us at avconsultations.com. That's 512-255-8678.
Call me at the end of a yawn. Back here on Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patty Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on as I, and of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. Text line's open. Chat's open. Hang out with us. Appreciate you being here with us on a Wednesday afternoon. Yeah, sorry. I was yawning there, and then the commercial ended. Caught me there. Caught me. It's Radio 101. Don't be yawning when you come out of commercials. Come on, guys. Simple stuff. Matt, we did see last night the Spurs lost in the NBA Cup action to the Knicks. Spurs led pretty much most of the game, and then Knicks went on a run to start the fourth quarter, and were just able to hold on to it. It was kind of sad after the game to see Wemby. Apparently his grandmother had passed away that day, so he was really emotional. Maybe wasn't playing his best game at parts in that. He was coming off the bench. Had a good run in there, but a little bit off, it felt like, during the game. But this is one after the game. It sucks to lose. You don't necessarily want to lose a game like that, but I think it is one of those reasons why it was really good for the Spurs was the Knicks played way more physical than them. Like extremely more physical than them. And for the Spurs to get a little bit more of that atmosphere and feel of being in a big moment and trying to play for something they really wanted, they just haven't had those opportunities yet. So I think it was good for them to get the learning lesson of, you know, you're winning most of this game, and then all of a sudden it's back, and you weren't able to fight back through that. You have to learn how to do that to take the next step of what you want to do. And having that happen in a NBA Cup game as opposed to a playoff game, I'll take. Now they're going to have to learn many more of these lessons. There's still ways, but I'll take learning it in a game that didn't actually, for any purposes other than the Knicks winning the cup, does not matter.
Yeah, I mean it's a fantastic learning lesson, and that really does suck for Wemby. That's one of the hardest things you can go through. But props to him. He played 25 minutes and scored 18 points and had 6 boards. Like, that's being able to battle through that and still put out that kind of performance is something. Can I blame this on Harrison Barnes at all?
Why we like Harrison Barnes?
Just for the fun of it, because he was so frustrating to watch for the Mavericks for so long, and he was 0-4 from 3.
He did. He's been shooting lights out threes, and then the last 2 weeks he's fallen off. But he's been playing really well. Also, just watched a video of him going around to HEBs in San Antonio and buying people's groceries, and cool. Giving him money. He's a good dude. I get why you make frustrated, because Harrison Barnes has kind of always been a dude where you're like, oh, he's a little bit older, so you don't expect a ton out of him. But you expected a ton out of him because he was younger at the time. But he's always kind of played the game that flowed well into him being an older guy. And Joe, 33. Knicks are not hanging the banner either. That felt like it was really the first year of it that they made the Lakers do it to try and make it matter more. But that was it. They made them do it. I don't think the Lakers wanted to do it either.
Well, the Lakers are a franchise that would want to do something like that.
No, but I do think that was much more of like hey guys, the NBA Cup is not necessarily working, but hey man, it sold tickets. The crowd was live for most of it. So, they're talking about moving it to a college stadium, which would be interesting. But I don't know, if you're in a college fan base, the kids aren't going to care about it. So I don't know, but they're talking about it. So we'll see.
You'd have to do it at a college venue that's in a big city still, though.
I know. And that's, they're not doing it
like
they're
the
doing they're doing the movie. Hey, that college, there's a lot of open seats. A lot of open seats last night.
If the Spurs are playing in it, I think people would show up.
I think they do it for the Highway Series, 35 series. They do here a couple games. All right, man, let's hit our meathead of the day. This guy needs no introduction. He was a Heisman favorite early in the year. We were told by Chipotle workers that his return marked the end for the Longhorns. But his hand is the reason why he's having a problem, Matt. It's the surgery. And Dr. Chin, who they loved, is apparently a fraud that has ruined John Mateer's career. It has nothing to do with him just being flustered and being in a bigger environment.
We're going to have to.
Oh, we got it that time. We figured it out that time, man. If you were just
let's play the beginning of that one more time.
If you're just listening to it, John Mateer is taking reps in bowl practice, and he's trying to do a drill where he basically stops and then goes through some tackling dummies. But he doesn't quite make it through the first tackling dummy. He just steps into it and immediately falls over. Which is basically a guy not knowing where he is on the field and making a bad decision. Now, does this happen more? Yes. Is it funnier because it's John Mateer? Yes.
Well, what's funny also is that an Oklahoma fan, Alabama is also practicing indoors.
Yeah.
And an Oklahoma fan quote tweeted them practicing indoors and was like, hey, they're done for if they're practicing indoors. Like, this is such a soft move. And then somebody replied with this video.
I love when it's just taking things completely out. Like, they're practicing indoors. You're like, okay, is it going to be 65, 50 degrees? I think they'll manage.
Yeah. Also, just a little spoiler alert for my college football playoff quarterback power rankings.
Yeah.
I did them while we were on the break.
Okay.
John Mateer's not ranked very high, Patrick.
He is not ranked high. I told you, he was slid. He kept sliding. Sliding well past where I thought he would slide. So
he's low.
He is low. spoiler alert, he's not 12 on my list, but he is low. He's not number 12 out of the 12. He is not 12th in my list.
I guess we'll have to tune in tomorrow and find out whether or not he is the worst quarterback on my SEC power rankings.
That's what we have to do. Not SEC, the
or college football playoff power rankings.
No, college football playoff, because there's 12 quarterbacks left. Quarterbacks are what makes everything. So I get defense wins championships. I understand that. Some good defense out there too. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll talk more about that tomorrow as we're getting closer to the college football playoffs happening. We'll get more into that tomorrow and, of course, Friday. But how about until then? Be kind, be safe, keep your underwear clean. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for more from Open.